He's been called the guru of golf, the pro's pro, and the man with a silky smooth swing. Winner of the coveted South African Masters Tournament, he's master instructor Phil Ritson. Former company and golf director at Walt Disney World, he created the Walt Disney Golf Studio program and was chairman of the Walt Disney Golf Classic. Accredited with over 120,000 one-on-one lessons during his 40-year teaching career, Phil has worked with golfers of all levels, juniors, amateurs, and professionals, including some of the world's greatest tour players. He's been a guest speaker and instructor at both national and sectional PGA workshops and was honored by the American Junior Golf Association for his many contributions to junior golf. Gary Player says this about Ritson.
Well, Phil is a very good teacher. In fact, I would say one of the best teachers in the world today, and does help a lot of the pros on the circuit, and is an enthusiastic teacher and a man who's had a lot of experience, has played well himself on the circuit. And I think that's an advantage when you've played well, and also to go out and teach, you have a little better idea. I really feel that.
The principles embodied in this tape are the result of years of instruction and research, years that saw the development of the Culmination Studio of Golf, the most advanced computer-aided instructional analysis program in use today. Located at Heathrow, just a short drive and a putt from Orlando, Florida, the Culmination Studio of Golf uses proprietary three-dimensional animated graphic software to analyze and correct individual faults more effectively than ever before. Now the techniques for achieving a silky smooth swing are yours in this videotape. Researched, planned, written, and narrated by master instructor Phil Ritson.
What makes a golf teacher good? The ability to diagnose a problem in its simplest form. With a three-dimensional graphic program, it is so much easier to diagnose this problem. What was opinion is now factual. With a marriage of years of teaching and technology, I have developed drills that will be right for you. Learn to play golf your way, and don't forget, you've got to go and practice and practice. Let's have fun. Let's go out to the tee and meet the master professionals. Hi pros, we're out on the Culmination Studio of Golf's practice tee, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you our teaching professionals. Jamie Zacco, our club expert and master professional. Don Trahan, Grandmaster Professional. He's an editor on the Golf Magazine staff, a really fine teacher. Andy O'Brien, our left-hander, a really good teacher indeed and Master Professional. And Bill Underwood, our Master Professional, who's been with me a long time and was with me at Disney. Don, let's have some fun and go out and do these drills.
Good, let's go.
Let's have fun. Learn to play golf your way. Don Trahan, our Grandmaster Professional, will demonstrate posture, the way you stand to the ball. Don is going to hit the ball here. What a beautiful shot, Don. Let's talk about posture. How do we get into the position that's right for you? Clap your hands in front of you. You'll notice the hands are together, and Don's going to bow from the waist. Move your hips forward to the left, and you'll notice this automatically drops your right shoulder, allowing your right hand to be naturally below your left hand. This is very important indeed. Let's try one more time, clapping your hands together, bowing, moving the hips forward, and allowing the right shoulder to get down below the left shoulder into a very good position indeed. Don's going to take up the grip now. You notice the hips are forward, the right shoulder's in and down, the head's behind the ball, and there's a straight line between the left arm and the shaft in a very good position indeed. Don's going to keep waggling the toes now and stay soft. He's feeling his balance to make sure the weight is on the balls of his feet. Keep moving all the time to stay soft. Going to turn away from the camera. And let's take a look at this posture position from this angle. Don's going to address the ball. In a very good position indeed. He's leaning forwards now with the weight on the toes, and you'll notice he's far too far away. He's going to get underneath the shot with the weight on the heels. This inhibits your turn. So please remember, the weight has got to be on the balls of the feet. Waggle your toes to make sure the weight isn't on the toes, and keep the weight on the balls of your feet. Don is going to clap his hands one more time, bow, move the hips forward, and you'll notice the right shoulder's below the left. Watch this beautiful position. He's checking the distance from his body by clenching his right fist and placing it between the thigh and the top of the handle. This is very important, a way to check to make sure you're the correct distance away. Don's going to keep moving and stay very soft and natural here. Right shoulder's down below the left, in a very, very good position indeed. Thank you, Don. Setup routine. Everyone should have a setup routine. Let's watch Don's setup routine. He's moving behind the ball to check his alignment, to find a spot to make sure he's aiming correctly. He moves in towards the ball, and he's now checking the leading edge to make sure that club is plumb to the ground, keeping that club face absolutely straight to the target. He's had a look at his grip, he's satisfied with that. He now has the ball placed in the middle of the feet, leaving the left foot where it is and opening up the right foot. He's trying to feel comfortable here and stay loose. He's waggling his toes to make sure the weight is on the balls of his feet. Staying soft. This is very important indeed. Keep moving. Stay soft. He's in a very good position here, and he's now going to hit the ball. What a good shot, and thank you, Don. Alignment, the aiming factor. It's so important to find your correct line. Don's confirming this by placing a peg in the ground directly between the ball and through to the target. He's reconfirmed it's in the correct position. He's now checking his grip, checking the leading edge of the club to make sure it's plumb to the ground and straight or square to the target. He's now satisfied that the club face is straight. He's checking his feet, and you notice the board closest to his feet is referred to as the feet line, and the board on the outside of the ball is the target line. He's now very comfortable with his direction. He's confirming the knee position being straight down the feet line, confirming the waist position being straight down the feet line, and then the shoulders. One has a preference. We prefer the straight position, or the square position as often described. There's a preference here where one plays with a slightly closed stance with the right foot drawn back, closing up the shoulders and the hips. The other preference is with a slightly open stance. We prefer the straight stance, the square stance. Don is now very comfortable, and he's very confident that he's set up to hit the ball straight. He's now lying his right ear on a pillow, and it's very important when you confirm the direction, lie your right ear on a pillow. If you don't, you'll notice as Don looks up, he opens up to the target, and you're going to see the wrong line. So please remember, lie your right ear on a pillow and double check. He's now satisfied he's absolutely perfect, and he's ready to hit. A beautiful shot, thank you, Don. Ball position. Don has a 9-iron in his hand. He's placing the ball in line with the inside of the left heel. You'll notice his stance is fairly narrow, and he has 60% of the weight on the left side. By having 60% of the weight on the left side, this allows him to hit down and through the shot with the shorter irons. You notice the left arm and shaft are in a straight line. Don is now going to pick up a 3-iron and place the ball in exactly the same position, in line with the inside of the left heel. He's taking a slightly wider stance with a longer iron, keeping the weight even on both feet. You notice the left arm and shaft in a straight line, and his head is behind the ball. He's now going to pick up a driver and again place the ball in line with the inside of the left heel, taking up a wider stance, moving the weight over to the right side, keeping 60% of the weight on the right side. By having the weight on the right side, it allows him to get the ball up in the air a lot easier. You notice his head's behind the ball. The left arm and shaft and the yellow board are all in one straight line, in a very, very good position indeed. Don's moving around just a little bit and making sure the weight is 60% on the right side. Very important to get the ball up in the air by having a little more weight on that right side. We're now going to go back to the 9-iron, and please remember, with the 9-iron, the stance is a lot narrower. To be consistent with all your shots, keep the bottom of the arc consistent. He's now picking up a 3-iron, taking up a slightly wider stance, and getting the weight even on both feet. In a very good position indeed there. Left arm and shaft in a straight line. He's now picking up the driver, again setting the ball up in line with the inside of the left heel, and please remember a wider stance, and the weight has to be 60% on the right side. In a very, very good position. Thank you, Don. Let's talk about the knees in the set-up position. Don's going to address the ball, feather the grass. Let's take a look at his knees. You'll notice they're directly over the top of his feet. The knees are separated in a very good relaxed position. We do not recommend the right knee being pointed in towards the ball. Watch what happens as he does this. The shoulder's open, the hips open, and the right arm is high. Don's going to swing back now, and watch how far the right knee has to travel. So please remember, don't point the right knee in towards the ball. Let's remove the unnecessary moving parts. It's nice and soft now, and you'll notice when he swings back, he's going to rotate around his right knee. The right knee does not move. He's going to bounce into his right knee to stay soft. So please remember, turn around your right knee. The right knee does not move at all. He's staying nice and soft. He turns around his right knee into a perfect position. Thank you, Don. Let's have fun. Bill Underwood, our master professional, is going to demonstrate left foot action. Learn to play golf your way. Bill's going to have a dry swing, and he's now going to hit the ball in slow motion. Let's swing back to the top of the backswing, please, Bill. And let's take a close look at this left heel. You notice the left heel's on the ground. This is a preference. You can bring the left heel off the ground just that little bit. You'll notice the left knee has moved into a very good position. Let's take another look at the backswing. Bill's going to swing back and bring his left heel far too far off the ground, and you'll notice he's lifted up. So please remember, when you swing back, keep that left heel close to the ground for control. Let's try one more time. He's going to swing back. The left heel's perfect. He's going to come down slowly, roll that left foot over into a perfectly balanced position. The weight is running little toe heel on the outside of his left foot. Let's talk about the downward swing now. He's going to swing back, come down slowly, and twist his left foot. Let's do that one more time, Bill. Spinning your left foot out. Please remember, roll the left foot over. Get the weight on the outside of the left foot. The spinning out causes all sorts of problems. One more time, Bill, demonstrating the left heel coming off the ground and the follow through. You'll notice as he hit the ball, he lifted up. This causes topping, hitting the ball on the head. So please remember, when you swing, do not bring that left heel off the ground at impact. Roll that left foot over. Notice how the weight's going little toe heel into a perfect position. Let's talk about the right foot action. Bill's going to demonstrate the right foot action on the backswing. You'll notice the right foot has not moved. He's going to come down very, very slowly, and notice how the right foot rolls over onto the inside of the big toe into a perfect position. Let's go to a close-up now and have a good look at this right foot. Let's watch Bill's right foot on the backswing. This is the correct move. You'll notice the right foot doesn't move. He's going to come down very slowly. On the way down, you'll notice the right foot rolls over onto the inside of the big toe into a perfect balanced position. Another demonstration here. Bill's going to swing back and roll the right foot over, causing that awful lateral sway off the ball. the next move here of the right foot, Bill's going to bring his right heel way off the ground, causing you to lift up. Another common problem in the follow-through with the right foot is to throw the right heel right over the top and spin out, causing you to come across the ball. Let's take another look at this right foot. Bill's got the weight on the inside of the right foot this time, but he's forcing the right heel down, causing a block out in the follow-through, impossible to follow through. How do we stop the right heel from coming over the top? Point your right foot to the right, and you'll notice as you go through, this nails the heel down, the right heel, and then allows it to come up into the perfect position. Let's try that one more time, pointing the right foot out. A very good drill indeed here to stop the right heel coming over the top. He has the right foot square and straight this time, and you'll notice when he swings back, he's forcing the weight onto the inside of the right foot to eradicate the right foot rolling over. So please remember, to stop the right foot from rolling over on the backswing, force the weight onto the inside of the right foot. Let's take one more look at this backswing here. Weight on the inside of the right foot, force the weight on the inside. You'll notice the right foot has not moved. He's going to follow through into a perfect position. Let's talk about balance, a key factor in any sport. Bill's going to hit this ball really hard this time, and let's watch his balance in the follow-through. That's really beautiful, Bill, in a perfectly balanced position. How do we get this feeling of balancing? How do we train ourselves to be balanced? You'll notice Bill's feet are close together. He's swinging backwards and forwards, and he's feeling his weight going right heel, left heel. Notice how that left foot rolls over. Weight running little toe heel on the outside of his left foot. Bill's going to swing again, slightly wider stance. Swing back, follow through, and notice how the weight goes little toe heel on the outside of the left foot. You have to show off. Pose for the camera. Let's try one more time. Swing back. Going to follow through slowly. Weight going little toe heel on the outside of the left foot and showing off in the follow through. Pose for that camera. Bill's going to check his balance here. He's going to waggle his toes just a little bit to make sure the weight is not on the toes. The weight is on the balls of the feet. He's going to transfer his weight to the right heel, then to the left heel. Very good balance indeed there again, Bill. Weight transference, a key power factor. A dry swing by Bill, feeling the weight going right heel, left heel. Let's watch him hit this ball and watch how fast the weight moves. Right heel, left heel. A very, very good shot indeed, thank you, Bill. How do we feel the weight is being transferred correctly? Bill's going to swing back, feeling the weight on the right heel by bouncing into that right knee. Watch the bounce of the right knee, feeling that weight planted on that right heel. He's going to come down slowly, weight going little toe heel on the outside of the left foot. He's going to bounce into the left knee here to make sure the weight is on that left heel. One more swing, please. Feeling the weight going right heel to the left heel. Rotation power. What happens if you don't transfer your weight to your right heel? Reverse tilting. A problem here, as you notice, weight being kept on the left side, straightening the right knee. Let's try one more time, please, Bill. This time demonstrating the sway problem. Not rotating the power, but swaying off the ball. Remember, no sway power, please. It has to be rotation power. Bill's going to swing again. Weight going to the right heel. Remember rotation power. Weight going through to the left heel. Let's work on the drill with the club behind your back and across your shoulders. Turning the big muscles now. Right shoulder, left shoulder turning, right hip turning, bouncing into that right knee, falling through, big shoulder turn. One more time, please. Big shoulders, right knee bouncing, rotating, turning back to that left heel and bouncing into that left knee. Let's have one more swing this time, please, Bill. Rotation power. Weight going to the right heel, back to the left heel, right heel on the backswing, back to the left heel, and pose for that camera. Thank you, Bill. Let's talk footwork. After all, the feet are the foundation of your swing. Not enough emphasis, I believe, is placed on footwork. Bill's going to swing back here and demonstrate a major problem rolling the right foot over, causing you to sway off the ball. As you can see, Bill's right knee has moved way to the right. How do we eradicate this problem? Place a club on the ground and then put your little toe of your right foot on top of the club. This forces the weight onto the inside of your right foot. Bill's going to swing back here and notice on the backswing he keeps the weight on the inside of that right foot. His right knee is absolutely still. He's turned around his right knee, eliminating the sway. Let's try one more time. Bill's going to swing back, turn around his right knee. You'll notice the weight is on the inside of that right foot. Bill's coming down very slowly here. And watch that right heel come well over the top. This is another problem. Bill's going to demonstrate one more time, coming down very slowly, allowing the right heel to come over the top too much, causing him to come across the ball, a very common fault. How do we eradicate this problem? Bill's going to point his right foot to the right, and this stops the right knee from moving in too soon, allowing that right heel to stay on the ground just a little longer. Notice how the right heel comes off the ground at impact, the right knee in towards the left knee. Let's try that one more time. Bill's going to swing back, he's going to come down slowly. You'll notice the leg separation. He's bouncing into that right knee. Left knee's driven. The right heel is nailed to the ground. And watch that right knee move in late into the shot. Into a very, very good position indeed. Let's talk about the left foot. Bill moves the left foot very, very well indeed. Let's examine the left foot on the backswing. You notice the left foot's rolled over. The left knee's moved in. Starting the downward swing slowly. Rolling that left foot over, weight going little toe heel on the outside of the left foot into a perfectly balanced position. Let's try that one more time. Winding up, allowing the left heel to come off the ground just that little bit. We have a preference here where we prefer the heel to be on the ground. If you have a problem winding up, allow the left heel to come off the ground just that little bit. Really good move here. Now remember, the downward swing is pulling. You're pulling down with the left side. The left side's leading. The left foot's rolling over. You'll notice the right knee moves in towards the left knee. Notice you can see the spikes of Bill's left shoe. A very good drill to keep the feet alive and get them moving. It's a short swing backwards and forwards. Weight going right heel, left heel. Keep the feet moving. Keep them alive. Thank you, Bill. Right knee action. Let's watch Bill's right knee. You'll notice on the backswing it does not move, and then it chases in after the left knee in the follow through into a perfect position. Watch that right knee. Chases in towards the left knee. We're going to swing back slowly and stop. And you'll notice Bill turns around his right knee. The left knee leads on the downward swing. The right knee has not moved until he gets to waist level. Then it chases in towards the left knee into a perfect position. Let's take a look at the setup here. You notice the hips are forwards, the right shoulder's down below the left, and most important, the right knee's over the right shoe. Watch him turn around his right knee now. The setup is vital. Turns around the right knee has not moved, starts his downward swing with the left side leading, the left knee pulls down, the right side starts to move from waist level, the right knee chases in towards the left knee into a perfect position. Left knee action. Let's watch Bill's left knee action. The left knee is going to move in behind the ball, drives through into a soft left knee position. Left knee moving in behind the ball on the backswing into a perfect soft left knee position. How do we keep this left knee soft? Bill's going to swing back and stop. Let's watch the left knee start the downward swing, driving down the feet line. You'll notice the knees are going to separate. The left knee is the leader. Left knee stays soft. The right knee moves in towards the left knee into a perfect position. One more time, please, Bill. Let's watch this left knee behind the ball, through the shot, and Bill's going to bounce into that left knee. Keep the left knee soft, please. Keep your level. This is very important indeed. Let's demonstrate a problem on the downward swing, straightening the left leg. Bill's going to come down very slowly here, and you'll notice as he comes down, he straightens that left leg, causing you to top the shot. One more time, please, Bill. Straightening your left leg now on the downward swing. This is an absolute no-no. Don't straighten that left leg too soon. You'll come up, you'll top the ball. Let's demonstrate another problem, collapsing the left knee in the follow-through, losing your height, gouging into the ground. So please remember, when you swing, keep your level. Start the downward swing with the left knee driving. Bill's going to pull down with that left knee. Just watch the left knee as he starts his downward swing. The left knee is behind the ball. He's going to start the downward swing with the left knee moving, pulling himself down into a very soft position, a perfect position. Let's talk about the left knee on the backswing. This is an absolute no-no, straightening that left leg. Lifting up, all sorts of problems. Let's look at the left knee collapsing, losing height. One more swing now. Left knee behind the ball, following through, pulling down with the left knee. Drive with the left side, pull down with the left side into a soft left knee position. Very good indeed, thank you, Bill. Motion to start the backswing. One of our major problems, we get behind the ball and we freeze. Why? We are too conscious of what we're trying to do, so please play in the subconscious. Keep moving behind that ball. Stay soft. Waggle your toes. Stay in motion. Stay alive. A beautiful, smooth swing there. Thank you, Bill. Bill's going to have a dry swing here. And let's go through the movements that are so important to stay soft, to get that smooth, running backswing. Waggle your toes. Keep moving your hands. Keep in motion. Stay alive. Keep moving. Slightly forward press. Some people forward press with the hands, some with the knees. Keep moving. Stay soft throughout the whole swing. Bill's going to hit a ball this time. Let's take a look again at the smooth takeaway. Remember, keep moving. This is very important indeed. Stay soft. Slightly forward press here. And let's watch the slow-mo of that swing into a beautiful finish position. Milking, the Harley-Davidson move. Don is demonstrating a 2-knuckle grip and now a 3-knuckle grip. Please remember to eliminate the left hand from getting too strong, closing the club face. Grip from underneath. Grip with those last 3 fingers of your left hand. Feel the pressure from underneath. Grip up towards the handle. Don's going to bring his right hand onto the club now. And please remember, don't squeeze from the top. Don is going to force the pressure down from the top of the left hand, and you'll notice you'll see too many knuckles causing the milking problem. So remember, grip from underneath with those last 3 fingers to eliminate the milking problem. Thank you, Don. One-piece takeaway. Please take the club back with the arms, shoulders, and hands turning together. For a smooth backswing, let the big muscles turn in one piece. Very important indeed. Let's demonstrate here an early wrist set. If you set your wrist early, the hands will make you swing fast, a narrow arc. So please don't take the club back with an early wrist set. You'll notice how fast Don swung back that time. Another problem is to take the club back just with the arms, letting the body follow. And you'll notice Don hasn't wound up correctly. So for a smooth takeaway, take the club back with the big muscles. The big muscles cannot move too quickly. Turn in one piece, arms, hips, shoulders turning together in one piece. Very good indeed. Let's try one more time for a smooth takeaway, all in one piece. Thank you, Don. way to improve your maximum wind-up on the backswing. We believe in taking the club back with the right side, the right hip and the right shoulder. And Don's going to swing back and stop, and notice how the left shoulder's turned behind the ball by turning the right side. Let's try one more time, please. Take the club back with the right hip and the right shoulder. Big turn and bounce into your right knee. One more time, please. For that smooth takeaway, take the club back with your right side, right hip, right shoulder, and let the left side follow. Don's going to follow through this time, and watch this beautiful wind-up, getting behind the ball, turning, follow through into a perfect position. Thank you, Don. Backswing. Rotate around your right knee. Let's watch Don's right knee in the swing. Very good indeed, Don. Don's going to swing back and stop and turn around your right knee. Keep your level. Bounce into your right knee to make sure you're soft. One more time, and Don's going to demonstrate straightening the right leg, obviously causing a lift up, a reverse tilt. One more time now, bending the right knee, swaying off the ball, losing one's height. Let's demonstrate the correct right knee. Don's going to turn, rotate around the right knee and bounce. He's going to bounce into that right knee. Make sure he's keeping his level all the time. One more time with the correct swing, please, Don. Turn around your right knee for maximum coil tension. Bounce into that right knee. Let's watch Don hit this ball this time. Watch the right knee, a big wind up, turning around the right knee. A beautiful follow through. Thank you, Don. Backswing, the left knee action. Let's watch Don's left knee on the backswing. This time he's going to swing a little slower, and notice how the left knee moves in behind the ball. So important to wind up correctly. Allow that left knee to move in behind the ball. A slower swing here, getting that left knee behind the ball. So important for the wind up. Starting the downward swing, driving that left knee down the feet line. One more time, swinging really slowly this time. Left knee moving in behind the ball, starting the downward swing with the left knee and hitting down and through. Don, won't you hit this ball, please? And let's watch the left knee in action. Left knee behind the ball. Beautiful shot there, Don. Thank you. If you have a problem getting the left knee in behind the ball, allow the left heel to come off the ground just that little bit. Some of us haven't got the flexibility we really do need, so bring that left heel off the ground just a little to help you wind up. Don's going to hit this ball in slow-mo this time, and let's watch the left knee action. The left knee is going to move in behind the ball, a big wind up, left knee in behind the ball, beautiful left knee drive through the shot to a perfect position. Thank you, Don. Wide arc on the backswing, one of the key power moves. Let's watch Don swing here. Beautiful wide arc. Don's going to hit the ball here. And watch how wide he extends those arms. A big turn, sits into the right knee. Very nice shot indeed, Don. Let's demonstrate the right elbow being real close on the backswing. And notice how he picks the club up, and the arc is very narrow, losing a tremendous amount of power. Don's going to hold the club short this time, going down about 6 inches on the shaft. Let's imagine that with this wide arc, this is exactly what you're getting when you keep your right elbow in. Tremendous loss of power by having a narrow arc. Don's going to swing back and stop. Let's check these arms. Big right hip turn, a big wind up. So please remember, you have to turn. You have to extend your arms to get maximum power. One more time, a big wind up here. Very good indeed, Don. Don's going to hit the ball this time in slow motion. Let's have a look at this wide arc. A big wind up. Very necessary for maximum power. So extend those arms on the backswing. Turn and get behind the ball. Very good shot indeed, Don. Learn to swing at the same pace, whether it be an 8-iron or a driver. Bill's going to demonstrate here with an 8-iron, dry swinging, and watch how smooth this is. Please remember, never hit at the ball, always hit through it. Bill's going to hit this 8-iron, and let's watch the pace very carefully here. Remember, he's not hitting at the ball, he's hitting through it. Watch the smooth rhythm, back and through. Bill's now going to have a dry swing with a driver. And remember, the key here is don't be intimidated because it's a longer club. You have to hit the ball further. The same smooth pace as the 8-iron. Watch the smooth dry swing with the driver. Bill's going to hit the ball this time, and let's pick up the pace. Remember, you're hitting through and not at the ball. Beautiful pace, thank you, Bill. Timing, tempo, rhythm. The question is often asked, how can I slow down? How can I get my timing, my tempo, and my rhythm? The key here is to take the club back with the big muscles. The big muscles cannot move too fast. So please remember, take the club back with the big muscles. Let's watch Bill swing back to the top of his swing and stop. Taking the club back with the right hip and the right shoulder. One-piece takeaway, smooth in rhythm and timing, tempo. Very good indeed, Bill. Let's swing back this time, one more time. Just pause for a second and then follow through for me. This time back and through, and watch the big muscles controlling the speed of his swing. Very good indeed. Bill's going to demonstrate taking the club back with the hands and wrists this time, and watch how quick he is, picking the club up. So please don't take the club back like this. As you noticed, not completing his backswing. So it's very, very important indeed to keep your rhythm and timing and tempo, to take the club back with the big muscles. Turn in one piece. Watch the smooth swing here. Big muscle control. We don't mind if you swing a little quicker. Everybody has their own rhythm and pace, as long as you control the swing with your big muscles. Bill's going to hit the ball this time, and let's watch the action hitting the ball. Beautiful smooth swing there, thank you, Bill. Let's have a dry swing again, please, Bill. And watch this backswing one more time. Very smooth indeed, controlling the backswing with the big muscles. Don't, whatever you do, pick up the club with your hands. An absolute no-no. Beautiful movement there, Bill. Let's see you hit this ball, please, Bill. So for control, pace, rhythm, and timing, swing with the big muscles. Wind up. Learn to wind up. Finish your backswing before you start your downward swing. Bill's going to swing back and bounce into his right knee. The feeling here is to take the club back with the big muscles. Please turn the big muscles, get behind the ball, bounce into that right knee. Please finish the backswing. Don't come back to the ball too soon. Turn. Looks very good indeed, thank you, Bill. Swing back and stop again. Big wind up, a big wide arc. How do we control this backswing? How do we wind up? A very good drill here is to put the club behind your back and under your arms. Turn slowly and watch how the handle of the club points behind the ball. Look in a mirror and check this. Make sure you finish your backswing before you start your downward swing. Practice this drill. Turning, please. Get that handle pointing behind the ball. One more time. Turn and bounce. Bounce into that right knee. Make sure you finish your backswing. Let's see Bill hit this ball and demonstrate in slow motion a beautiful wind-up. Watch how Bill finishes his backswing. He gets right around behind the ball. What a beautiful swing, Bill. Rotation power, one of the key power factors. Bill Underwood, our master professional, is going to demonstrate rotation power. And take the club back with the big muscles, the right hip and the right shoulder, winding up into a tremendously coiled tension position. Beautiful wind up indeed here. He's sitting into his right knee. He's turned the big muscles. He's behind the ball to create maximum power. So please remember, take the club back with the big muscles. Bill's going to demonstrate one more time, and remember, it's pulling power, not pushing power. Pull back with the right side. Make sure your shoulder's behind the ball in a perfectly wound up position. Bill's going to demonstrate the right knee swaying off the ball, the right foot's rolling. So please remember, it's rotation power and not sway power. So important to rotate to create maximum coil tension. Bill's going to swing back again, tremendous coil tension, and notice he's not overswinging. The club has not gone past parallel. He's controlling the backswing with his hands. Beautiful wind-up position indeed. Coming down slowly, driving with that left knee and allowing the right knee to move in towards the left. Let's have a full swing here, please, Bill. In fast motion, let's watch the swing. Watch the power. Wind up and through the ball. How do we stop this right foot from rolling over? A drill here we'd like you to practice. Place your foot on top of the club. Make sure your weight is on the inside of the right foot. And let's turn and bounce at the top. Make sure you're really sitting at the top of the backswing. Remember to turn the big muscles, please. We cannot be emphatic enough about winding up with the big muscles for maximum power. Let's watch Bill hit this ball, please. And watch the tremendous wind up and the tremendous power. Beautiful shot indeed. Thank you, Bill. Overswinging, a very common problem. Bill's going to demonstrate a pure backswing. Going to swing to the top of his backswing and stop. You'll notice the shaft is parallel to the ground. The moment he bends his wrist too much or collapses his arm, you'll notice he's overswinging. Let's try one more time. Going to swing back to a pure backswing again, and you'll notice the shaft is parallel to the ground. Learn to control your backswing. Bill's going to demonstrate an overswing by bending his left arm. Going to swing back and let the left arm bend, and you'll notice there's an overswing. Very difficult to hit the ball this way. This time he's going to cup his left wrist and bend his left arm, and again an overswing. Very difficult to control the shot. How do we eradicate this problem? Bill's going to swing back and get the feeling of pointing the thumbs to the sky. You'll notice a big body turn, big muscle turn, and he's controlling his wrist. You have to exaggerate the firm wrist there. This is very, very important indeed. Point those thumbs to the sky. The momentum would normally take the club back a little further. One more time. Point those thumbs to the sky. Learn to control those wrists. Very, very important indeed. Bill's going to demonstrate here putting the right arm behind the back and swinging just with the left arm only to strengthen the back of that left wrist. To learn to control your wrist on the backswing. Try one more time, please. This time he's going to follow through, back, and he's going to go right through the shot. Very good indeed, Bill. This is a very common fault here. Overswinging without a body turn. Just watch this. Bill's not going to turn his body. He's going to collapse his left arm and wrist, and you'll notice he has a full swing. This is what we do not want, please. A very common fault. Trying to complete the backswing by being very loose with the wrists and the left arm. You have to complete your body turn first. Very important indeed. Bill's going to point the thumbs to the sky, and remember this drill. Please point your thumbs to the sky to control your backswing and make sure you have a big body turn. Thank you, Bill. Elbow control. Let's watch Don swing back and stop. Watch the right elbow. The right elbow's down but well away. He's going to follow through very slowly, and you'll notice the hands are high, right arm is extended. Let's try one more time. He's going to swing back. Right elbow's well away, left arm is extended. Remember, you need the wide arc for power. He's going to come down very slowly, follow through into a very nice high position. Let's aim away from the camera, please, Don. I'm going to swing back and stop. Let's watch the right arm. The right elbow's down but well away. So important to control that right elbow. Swing back again and stop with the left arm behind his back. He's going to demonstrate what we describe as a tray position. At the top of the backswing, he's carrying a tray. Now the feeling is to throw a ball literally underarm down the fairway. Let's try that one more time, please, Don. You'll notice the left arm is behind the back and he's swinging just with the right arm to control that right elbow. Right elbow's down in a tray position. He's going to throw that ball underarm down the fairway. He's going to turn now and face the camera. And let's watch these elbows. Going to swing back and stop. The left arm is extended, but not locked. Notice how that left forearm rotates through the ball. Don's going to turn and face the camera. And let's concentrate on the left arm in the follow-through. Watch how it releases through the ball. Left arm rotates through the ball this time, coming down slowly, rotating that left arm. Left elbow's down, the elbows are equidistant, very important indeed. Let's do this super drill. The way to control your elbows. Don's going to hold the club in the tips of his fingers and lie the club behind his back. Watch him turn and watch the right elbow down, but well away from the body. He's going to follow through and the left elbow's down, but well away from the body. He's going to face the camera. He's going to turn, right elbow down. He's going to follow through, left elbow down. What a wonderful drill to control your elbows. He's going to aim away from the camera. The right elbow is going to be in a tray position at the top of the backswing, well away from the body, but down. He's going to follow through and the left elbow's down. Let's do that one more time, please, Don. Let's watch the elbows. Right elbow down, left elbow down. Thank you, Don. Watch Don's elbows in the swing. Right elbow down on the backswing, left elbow down on the follow-through. Don's going to swing back with the right elbow close to the body, an absolute no-no. Flat backswing, narrow arc, laying off. He's going to do this one more time in slow motion. Swinging back with the right elbow close, and as you can see, a flat backswing, a very, very narrow arc indeed. An absolute no-no. Don's going to aim away from the camera and place a ball under his right arm. How many times have you been told, place a handkerchief or a towel under your right arm? This is an absolute misunderstanding. Please don't do this. Watch what happens when the right elbow is close to the body. Flat backswing, narrow arc, laying off. Don's going to swing one more time, going back very slowly, the correct way, right elbow well away but down, and you'll notice the ball is going to fall out onto the ground. Don, won't you pick up the ball, please, and place the ball under your left arm, and let's turn around and face the camera. Don's going to have a short backswing, and watch how narrow the arc is in the follow-through with the ball under his arm. Let's do that one more time. Notice how narrow the arc is, coming across the ball with no extension. He's now going to face the camera and watch the flat follow through with the ball under his left arm. An absolute no-no. This time he's going to follow through correctly with the left elbow leaving the body but down, hitching a right, and you'll notice the ball comes away. Thank you, Don. We've just come in from the beautiful golf course. Sure you've enjoyed the drills you've seen up to now, and we're back in the studio. This might suit people in inclement times practicing indoors. Let's talk about a very important factor in the golf swing, losing the right hand in the swing. Remember, it's very, very important to make the two hands work together as one. Marry those two hands together. Let me demonstrate here in the shot. You'll notice right throughout the whole swing, my hands stay together. A very common fault we're going to talk about today is letting go and losing the lifeline at the top of the backswing. I want you to watch how the lifeline of the right hand comes away, losing the club. Let's talk about the lifeline. This particular part of the hand right under the heel pad. So please remember, at the top of the backswing, you have to squeeze the lifeline of your right hand against your left thumb. Let me demonstrate again. Swinging back very, very slowly, and watch how I lose the lifeline of the right hand. This causes a disruption in the rhythm, the timing. A tendency here is to unwind the wrist too soon, casting from the top. You can imagine what happens when you do that. Loss of power coming over the top and across the ball. Wonderful way to practice this is a coin test. Place a coin on top of your left thumb Then push your lifeline down on top of that left thumb, please. Squeezing just oh so gently, and when you go to the top of the backswing, let's make sure you squeeze that coin. Try one more time. Swinging back, squeezing the coin. You'll notice the two hands are wedded together. This is what will happen to the coin if you lose your lifeline grip. You'll notice the coin has fallen out. So please remember, for consistency, squeeze the lifeline. Keep those two hands working together as one unit. Steering wheel factor, controlling the knuckles. It is so important to control the knuckles. The knuckles control the angle of the club face, and this keeps the club face straight. One of the most important factors in hitting the ball down the center of that fairway. Let's talk a little bit more about knuckle control. Bill is a two-knuckle player. When he looks down, he can see two knuckles. We have a preference of either two knuckles or three knuckles. In Bill's case, it's two knuckles. And he's going to demonstrate how he controls the two knuckles throughout the whole swing and keeping the club face straight. He's got to the top of his backswing, controlling the back of his left wrist. Two knuckles at waist level, coming down, controlling the two knuckles at impact, and going right through the shot, holding that two-knuckle angle. Bill has a two-knuckle grip here, and he's going to pick the club up in front of him, demonstrating the way he sets his wrist on the two-knuckle position. Now he places the club pointing over his right shoulder, checking the two-knuckle position one more time. He's going to turn to the top of his backswing, and he's in a two-knuckle position. Now he's going to cup the wrist open into a three- or four-knuckle position. He's now going to close the left wrist into a one-knuckle position. He's going to come down slowly, remaining in that one-knuckle position. You'll notice the club face is closed. The ball will go to the left. And swing back again and stop, cupping the wrist open. Coming down slowly, holding that club face open. You'll notice the face is wide open, the ball's going to go to the right. Going to swing back again and stop in the perfect position, showing two knuckles. Checking to make sure he has two knuckles. He's going to come back to waist level, check the two-knuckle position, absolutely correct. And come back again at impact, two-knuckle position, club face perfect, two-knuckle position at waist level, perfect, and follow right through. Tension, left arm. Let's watch Bill address this ball, and you'll notice his left arm is straight, extended, but not locked. We're going to watch him hit this ball in slow-mo, and you'll notice the left arm remains extended throughout the swing, but soft. Let's watch Bill in the setup position. His left arm is relaxed, nice and soft, but extended. Watch what happens when he straightens his left arm. His shoulders are tight, very stiff, very unnatural, and very difficult to take the club back from this tense position. Bill's going to relax his left arm again and get very comfortable. He's going to swing back and stop. His left arm is in what I call the perfect position. He's now going to extend his left arm, and you notice how tense and awkward this is. So please remember, when we talk about the straight arm, it must be extended but not locked at the top of the backswing. Bill's back in the perfect position again. Let's try one more time, please. Swinging back with the left arm nice and soft. Through into a perfect position. So please remember, don't lock that left arm on the backswing. You'll notice the left arm was locked, nice and soft again. Let's talk about a drill here to learn to control the left arm. You put your right arm behind your back and swing just with the left arm only. Bill's going to lock the left arm, and you'll notice the tremendous tension. He's going to soften it again into the correct position. Let's go through, Bill. Another very good drill here is to hold the club shorter, say 6 inches down, which allows the club head to be a lot lighter and a lot easier to swing. Locking the left arm, a no-no. Left arm is perfect again. Let's do that one more time, please, Bill. Swinging back, left arm nice and soft. A no-no, locking it, left arm soft into a perfect position. Thank you, Bill. Right arm and right elbow in the address position. Look at how comfortable Bill is here. His right hand is below his left hand. His right shoulder is below the left shoulder. His hips are forwards. And his right elbow is tucked in and bent just a little bit. Bill's going to demonstrate how you get into this position. He's going to bring his right hand up to his left hand and move his hips back. And watch when he moves the hips to the left towards the target, how the right hand drops naturally down below the left hand. The right shoulder drops, the hips are forwards, the right elbow is tucked in, and you'll notice there's a straight line through the left arm and down the shaft in a perfect position. Let's demonstrate what happens when you don't move your hips forwards. Bill has his right hand in line with his left hand, and you notice as he extends the right arm without moving the hips forward, he's opened up and the right arm is tense, hands are well forwards. So please remember, to get into this perfect position, bring your right hand towards your left hand, slide your hips forward, and that automatically drops the right shoulder below the left in a perfect position. Bill's going to swing back and follow through into a perfect follow-through position. Thank you, Bill. Rotation power, reverse tilting. Bill's going to have a dry swing, and we're going to talk about rotation power and how to eliminate the problem of reverse tilting. Bill's going to swing back and straighten his right leg, and you'll notice the weight stays on the left side, hence a reverse tilt. Another reverse tilt problem is to point the left knee on the backswing in front of the ball, and you'll notice he'll reverse tilt even more. Watch him swing back and watch this left knee. An absolute no-no. How do we eradicate this problem? Bill's going to swing back, rotating around his right knee. He's going to start the backswing with the right side, right hip, right shoulder. Nice big turn. He's going to sit into that right knee. He's going to bounce, feeling very comfortable. A beautiful wind up there. Let's try one more time, please, Bill. Turning around the right knee, big wind up, getting behind the ball in a perfectly wound up position. Watch the big wind up, getting behind the ball, sitting into that right knee. He's really in a perfect position. Let's try one more time. Remember, you pull back with your right side. The left side complements, it works together, left and right side. You have to wind up and get over to that right heel. It's very important that your weight's on your right side. Right heel on the backswing. Sitting, bouncing into that right side. We believe in rotation power and not sway power. Bill's going to demonstrate this time swinging back and swaying off the ball. So please, no sway power. It has to be rotation power. Bill's going to swing back again, sitting into the right side in a beautiful wind-up, maximum coil tension. Bill's going to hit this ball, and he's going to feel his weight going right heel, left heel, into a perfect position. Thank you, Bill. The pendulum feel. Andy O'Brien, our master professional, he really is left-handed. This is not a mirror image you're looking at. Let's demonstrate the feeling of the pendulum feel. How do we get this feel of transition, swinging backwards and forwards smoothly? Andy's going to demonstrate swinging back and coming down smoothly, back and forth softly. Imagine that pendulum, backwards and forwards. So important to change direction smoothly. And he's going to demonstrate hitting from the top. You'll notice he's unwinding too soon and through the shot. Let's watch this pendulum feel. Delaying, delaying, and then hitting through the shot. This really is a beautiful golf swing. Please remember, you have to feel the pendulum feel here. Change direction smoothly. Watch Andy's move here. Back and down at the same pace, and you never hit at the ball, you hit through it. So please remember, don't accelerate from the top. Accelerate through the ball. This is so important. Andy's going to hit this ball this time, and let's watch the smooth change in direction. A beautiful swing, Andy. Thank you. Coming over the top, Andy's going to have a dry swing and demonstrate a perfect move. Just watch how he initiates his downward swing with his right knee and swings underneath. Please remember, the name of the game is underarm. Andy swings slower this time, swinging underneath in a perfect position. Andy's going to swing back and stop. We're going to talk about the problem, the roundhouse swing coming over the top. Watch Andy leading with his right knee, forcing the right arm close to the body, the left elbow's coming into the hip, and from there he's swinging underneath. Andy's going to aim away from the camera, and he's going to demonstrate coming over the top. Swing back and stop. Watch him spin the hips out early, and this causes a roundhouse swing, coming right across the ball. Let's do that one more time, please, Andy. Going to swing back and stop, spinning those hips out early and coming right across the ball. An absolute no-no. A good drill here to cure this is to swing with the left hand only, putting your right arm behind your back. Remember, it's Andy's left arm. The name of the game is underarm. Get the feeling you're literally throwing a ball underarm down the fairway if you're left-handed with the left hand. Beautiful follow through there, Andy. Let's grip with both hands now. Swing back and stop. Let's come underneath. Beautiful underarm action there. Remember, the name of the game is underarm. Andy's going to turn facing the camera. And let's watch this move one more time. Swinging underneath. Remember, the right side leads on the way down in Andy's case. Right knee driving down the feet line and swinging underneath. Andy's going to hit the ball this time. And let's watch this beautiful underarm move. He's cured the problem coming over the top. Watch the right knee lead, and he's going to swing underneath to a perfect position. Thank you, Andy. Bill's going to demonstrate rotation power, hitting down and through the ball. Let's watch Bill's dry swing here, and notice how quickly he clears his hips through the shot. Bill's going to swing back and stop, and initiate the downward swing with the left knee moving down the feet line. Watch the knee move first, the left knee. His left arm drops close to the body. As his right elbow hits the body, he's going to clear his hips as fast as he can. Let's do that one more time, please, Bill. Watch the left knee move early, and watch how fast the hips clear once the knee has moved. Let's swing with the left arm only, please, Bill, and show a drill here that will really help one accelerate through the ball, clearing the hips quickly. Right hand on the hip. He's going to pull down with the left knee, initiating with the left knee, and then push his right hand against his hip. Let's do that one more time. Left knee first, and then pushing with the right hand against the hip. Let's aim away from the camera, please, Bill. And he's going to swing with the left arm only. He's going to swing back and stop. And let's watch the angle of attack on the way down. He's going to move his left knee first, and notice how close the left arm is to the chest. He's committed to a perfect angle of attack. And from here, he's going to push his right hand against his hip and clear those hips as fast as he can. Let's try one more time, please, Bill. That was a perfect move, thank you. Swing back. Left knee starts the downward swing, left arm close to the body, right hand pushes against the hip. Let's try this with both hands and watch the angle of attack. Left arm close, hips clearing fast. Bill, will you hit the ball, please? And let's watch this early left knee move into a beautiful power move through the ball. Bill Underwood is going to demonstrate one of the key moves in golf, leg separation. Let's watch this dry swing and watch how he starts the downward swing with his left knee. He's going to initiate the downward swing with his left knee. You'll notice the right knee hasn't moved until he gets to waist level. And from this point, he's going to clear his hips as fast as he can. Let's swing back again and stop, please, Bill. Big wind up. Starting the downward swing with the left knee, left arm close to the chest, committed to a perfect angle of attack and through the ball. One more time, please, Bill. Swing back and stop. Watch this left knee. Down the feet line first, committing to a correct angle of attack, and from there accelerating through the ball. Let's head away from the camera, please, Bill. Bill's going to swing back and stop. And let's watch this move on the way down. His left knee's moving first, and watch how close the left arm stays to the body. A perfect approach angle to the ball. Bill's going to swing back again, and this time he's going to spin out. Watch the early spin of the hips, causing a roundhouse follow through. Going to do that one more time. This time bringing the left arm close, the left knee moves down the feet line into a perfect angle of attack again. Beautiful follow through there, Bill. Let's face the camera. Bill's going to swing back. Let's take a good look at this move. Watch how he starts the downward swing early with that left knee. The real key here is to move the left knee before you finished your wind-up, like any other sport. Left knee early and clear those hips as fast as you can. Swing back, please, Bill. Coming down slowly now. Left knee moving. Look at that leg separation. Really beautiful. Do that one more time. Swing back. Come down very slowly. Left knee is perfect. Leg separation. Watch how flexed the knees are here. What a beautiful leg separation. What you must not do here, please, is straighten that left leg. Keep the left leg soft. Keep the knee soft. Let's try one more time, keeping those legs soft. Beautiful move there. Let's watch Bill hit the ball this time and watch this perfect leg separation, a key move in this game of golf. Beautiful, Bill. Releasing, hitching a ride. Bill's going to demonstrate the releasing move. He's going to swing back and stop, and let's watch the left forearm rotate. And come down to waist level, slowly, and watch the left forearm turn over. Beautiful release through the ball. Let's do that one more time, please, Bill. Let's watch the left forearm rotate. Come down and turn that left arm over. Bill's going to swing with the left arm only here and demonstrate the left forearm turning over. Remember, it's a one-piece move. Don't try and release with your hands or wrists. It has to be a one-piece move with the left forearm. Control that move with the left forearm, please. Let's hit towards the camera, Bill. Put the right arm behind his back, and let's watch the left arm action through the ball. Hitching a ride to fame. Watch this left arm turn over as he goes through and hitching a ride. Left elbow's down, thumbing a lift over his shoulder. Please don't use your hands or wrists. Let the left forearm rotate in one piece. Hitching a ride to fame, accelerating through the ball. Let's face the camera. Remember, don't release with your hands, please. This is very important indeed. Watch Bill's move here. Going to swing back and unwind early. An absolute no-no. Going to do that one more time. Throwing the hands early. When do you unwind your hands? Very, very difficult indeed. So please remember, release with that left forearm, an absolute no-no, and winding with those hands. The good move this time, dropping down into the hitting zone and then turning that left arm over, thumbing a lift over the shoulder. Bill's going to aim towards the camera. Going to swing with the left arm only. And let's watch this move through the ball. Going to go through very slowly, thumbing a lift over the shoulder into a perfect position. Let's try one more time, please, Bill. This time he's going to fly the left elbow, blocking out, causing the ball to go high to the right. This time he's going to follow through with the left elbow close to the body, roundhousing, all sorts of problems. Swing one more time, please, Bill, with both hands. Watch this move through the ball, please. Swinging back, coming down and rotating that left forearm, hitching a right to fame. Bill's going to turn around and face the camera. Watch this swing. Releasing with that left forearm, accelerating through the ball. Bill's going to hit the ball this time, and let's watch releasing through the ball, hitching a right to fame. Shanking, the most feared problem in golf. Bill's going to demonstrate three major reasons why you shank. The first, coming over the top. Notice how the right elbow comes over and comes back into the shank. Let's do that one more time, please, Bill, slowly. Coming down very slowly, coming over the top, leaning forwards, and making contact in the shank. The next problem is laying off. Watch how the right elbow stays close, and he leads with a hosel, again in the shank. Let's do that one more time, please. Right elbow close, laying off, and leading with a hosel. The other problem, which is most probably the most common, is weight on the toes. As Bill comes down, his weight goes forward onto the toes, leans forwards, and hits the ball in the shank. One more time, please, Bill. Weight on the toes, leaning forwards, and hitting the ball in the shank. Let's work on the drills here to eradicate this problem. Bill's going to address the ball in the shank, going to swing back, come down very, very slowly, and demonstrate hitting the ball on the toe. Address the ball in the heel and hit it on the toe. He's going to swing back this time, back onto the toe. This time he's going to address the ball in the heel and miss it. A wonderful practice. Bill's going to address the ball in the heel and hit it on the toe, and it sure will go. The next practice, Bill's going to address the ball in the heel, and remember the red ball, the orange ball is the no-no. He's going to swing back and stop, come down very slowly, and demonstrate hitting the ball on the toe. This time he's going to address the ball in the heel and hit it on the toe. The orange ball's a no-no. Very well done indeed, Bill. Bob is late. Please don't let this happen to you. This is not conducive to good golf. He has 3 angry partners, and they're already unhappy with you being late. You should at least warm up in order to play well. If you are late for your tee time for whatever reason, please take 1 minute out to practice this 1 minute drill. Bill's going to short swing backwards and forwards with his feet close together, feeling his balance. He's now going to put the club behind his back, turning the shoulders, remembering to wind up. Finish your backswing. Now going to hold the club in his left hand only, swing backwards and forwards, stretching that left arm. Give yourself time to warm up, please. Right hand on the hip, pushing through the ball. Now he's going to swing with his right arm only, feeling the name of the game. The name of the game is underarm. learn to swing and feel underarm. Now he's going to swing with both hands, clearing his hips quickly, accelerating through the ball. And now you're ready to play. As you can see, we have a very interesting shot here, over water, with a strong wind right to left. I'm going to play the shot and demonstrate to you how it should be played. And after this, I'm going to show you the drill that's right for you. That shot sure was fun. Let me teach you the move that will stand up under pressure. So many of us intimidated in these circumstances. Remember, on the backswing, complete your backswing. The way to do this is to turn your right shoulder and your right hip. Turn the big muscles. Don't take the club back with the hands and arms. This causes a fast swing and all sorts of problems. So please remember, for a smooth swing under pressure, take the club back with the right hip and the right shoulder and get behind the ball. Thank you for watching.
One of the toughest things in golf is to produce a repeating swing. And I'd like to show you a little stunt which will give you an idea how I get a feeling for repeating. I don't try to strike at the ball, but rather I try to make a swing through the ball, almost a slinging type of motion out to my target. Instead of thinking of details of the little things I'm going to do for each particular swing, you'll see that now the ball is just going to get in the way of a swinging motion forward to my target. It looks something like this. Developing your repeating swing, because that is what you're going to have to live with, your golf swing, and that's what we want to work with. There is no magical, mythical, perfect swing, but there is a best swing that you can deal with. I've asked some people in our audience to write some things down for me. If they'd bring those up right now, I'd like to have them, please. I've asked them to take a piece of paper and write on that piece of paper 3 words, and those 3 words are the words a golf swing. Okay? Thank you. I want to show these cards to you now. And I didn't tell them how to do it. I didn't say write it in script. I didn't say print it. I just said put down 3 words, a golf swing. And I want you to see what they look like. Here is a golf swing. And we'll take the first 3, 4, 5. Okay? Here are the A golf swings that were done by the people in the audience. Every one of them made a golf swing, but each one of them made it differently. Some wrote, some printed. We had some that used different colors, some smaller and some larger, but they all made a golf swing. And you know, that's the way it is with golfers around the world, on the tube, on Saturday and Sunday, when you watch the greatest golfers in the world. There is no one way to make a golf swing. There are a lot of ways that work. They all accomplish the objective. Some are a little prettier than others, some are bolder than others, but they all accomplish what we ask them to do. And that's one of the things that we want you to understand when we talk about the secret to the perfect swing that so many people come up with. It's a myth. There is no one perfect swing that everybody should try and master. But every one of you has a perfect swing for you, the best swing for you. And that's why we changed the word from a repeating swing to your repeating swing. You know, the golf swing is a fickle, elusive, fleeting kind of thing. Playing golf is trying to learn a constant series of adjustments. You know, one day you're a little stronger, one day you're a little more flexible, one day you're a little more or less tired, and so because of those factors, your production of golf shots is going to vary. Julius Boros, I think, has a great example when he goes out to warm up, and he realizes that golf is a constant state of adjustment, and so he hits a few balls in the practice tee, and he finds out what the ball wants to do for that day, and then he just lets it do it. If it's a little fade, then he plays with a little fade. If it's a little draw, he plays with a little draw, but he doesn't fight it, because he realizes that it is a fickle kind of a thing. There are little flashes of insight that we get, however, that give us an opportunity in golf for self-deception. If I were to offer a selfish, materialistic prayer, it would be something like this. Oh, Lord, please give me a quarter for every time that I've heard a golfer say, now I've got it. I finally figured it out. Now, as a matter of fact, make it just a dime, you know, a dime for every time I said it or thought it, and I would be a very, very wealthy person. But of course, people do learn to repeat a golf swing consistently. They learn to shoot in the 60s, and you read their names in the paper and you see them on television. How do they do it?
Morning, Lloyd.
Morning.
We're on the first tee of the PGA National Championship Golf Course with Lloyd Conant, the producer of our show.
And Lloyd has asked me if I would go through some of the details that are involved in developing your own repeating swing. That's what we wanted, right, Lloyd? So what we're going to do, I brought a few props with me, and I'm going to give you some ideas about what happens in the golf swing, actually in fine detail. And then when we get out on the golf course, we're going to try to have you forget the details and then play by feel. So Lloyd, I want to take you through a few thoughts here about what is encompassed in developing a repeating golf swing. I brought this prop with me to show you. What we're going to do, the first thing, is show you one of the forces that's available to you. The first force that you ought to understand in golf is this one, because it's been used for 500 years, and that's centrifugal force. It's the feeling of something heavy out on the end pulling away from you, like you have when you have your own golf club and you have the weight of the club as you swing it, the feeling of that club pulling away from you out on the end. When I wind up and unwind with this little string and ball, I produce a nice increase in speed that whips and cracks me right in the back. You can hear the pop. Not only does it give me some speed by winding and unwinding, but it gives me consistency. Watch where the ball hits me. The same place every time, because the law of nature allows it to do that. Now in the golf swing, it should be done very much in the same way. We should make a wind up and an unwind so that we can feel the weight of the club head out on the end, and that's how we're able to produce the feeling of a good swing. So when I take my club in my hands, one of the things I want to be able to feel is to feel the weight of this club head. And that comes through proper grip pressure. The grip pressure that it would take is if I were holding my club out in front of me and just lifting it enough to put it over my shoulder. That's all the pressure you really need to feel in your hands to be able to make this swing so that you have the kind of weight feeling on the end that is giving you the most as far as centrifugal force is concerned. So that's what I'm going to do when I place my hands on the club to begin with as far as pressure is concerned. In addition to the pressure in the grip, which is so essential to feeling the weight of the club head and centrifugal force, of course you need the placement of the hands. When we're talking about hand placement, that's the most critical factor in controlling the face of the club. The more I rotate my hands in this fashion, the more I will close the club face. The more I rotate my hands in this fashion, the more I will open the club face. Now, how do you put your hands on the club exactly? Well, first of all, everyone's hands are different. So there are going to be minor changes or minor differences between one player and another. But don't let that bother you, because the essentials or the principles are basically the same. First, in the left hand, I want to make sure that I carry the club underneath the pad, the butt pad of my left hand, so that I could let go with my thumb and index finger and bear the weight. So it'd be very heavy feeling here, so I could bear the weight under that pad of my left hand. If I don't have it there, it will slip out up above into the palm of my hand. Then that's why the last three fingers of the left hand are so important in holding on to the club. Those are your control fingers. And those are the ones we tend to let go of in the golf swing. Now, how far over should I position my hand? Well, if you let your hand hang naturally at your side, bring it in, cock it slightly downward, and then make those three fingers curl that club right into the palm of your hand, and then simply close your thumb and index finger onto the grip, you'll find that that'll probably be the best position for you. If you were to look for some checkpoints, you could look for a V that comes off of the thumb and index finger that comes up somewhere between your chin and shoulder. Now that's basically the range of all golfers. They have the V's of their hands pointing somewhere between the chin and the shoulder. The stronger player will have the V's more to the chin. When I say stronger, I mean physically stronger, more adept. The person who has more flexibility in their body and more strength in their arms and hands. The weaker player, the one who's lost some flexibility and strength, will rotate more so the V's point more to the right shoulder than they do to the chin. And other players are somewhere in between that range. So that's a good checkpoint for me. Another one in my left hand is also seeing the back two knuckles of my left hand when I look down over the top of my hand to see that it's in the correct position. Seeing more knuckles would be what we call a stronger grip, and fewer knuckles, a weaker grip. When my right hand goes on, this is a critical placement now. My right hand is placed so that the club is across my fingers of my right hand, not deep into the palm of the hand, but across the fingers so that I see some light on both sides of the shaft. Then I simply close my hand so the hollow of the hand fits over my thumb. My thumb and index finger then fit around the shaft, fairly close to one another, to the next middle finger. And that is the positioning with my small finger of my right hand simply laid over or lapped into that space of the index finger of the left. Now you could interlock them, or you could place all your fingers on the grip. That's a matter of preference. If you interlock them, don't go to a deep interlock. Go to just a slight interlock. If you overlap, just lay it across. And if you put all your fingers on, make sure again that the grip is in the fingers and not toward the palm of the right hand. That's the placement that you're looking for in grip. When we talk about developing a repeating swing, you must understand that the repetition or the repeating part of it comes from being able to do the preliminaries before the swing starts. It may be hard to understand. You're always thinking about how good my swing's going to be, but the result's not going to be very good unless you get the grip and the aim and the setup correct first. So I begin now, after I've had my idea of what I want to do in a grip, I begin by selecting my aim, by deciding where I want the ball to go and where I don't want it to go. And once I've decided where also it's not going to go, I pick the location of the landing area, and then I choose my spot on the tee. For this tee shot, I'm going to play right from the middle. We've got trouble on the right and trouble on the left on the hole, both water on the right and out of bounds on the left, so I'm choosing the middle. I tee the ball, and when I tee it so that approximately half the ball is above the top of the club head. That's my margin of air that I allow by putting the ball in that position. It gives me an easier chance to get at the ball for my tee shot. Now I take my aim from behind because it's always easier to sight from behind something to line up your target. I've selected my target and draw a line back from my target through the ball, and on the way I pick out an intermediary spot. It's in front of me about 10 or 12 feet. Now that helps me to line up because it's always easier to line up to something close to you than it is something that's a long ways away. So I'm lining up to begin with to that spot. And what do I line up? I line up the club face first. I set the club face so that it is facing squarely to my target right in front of me. I move in with my right foot or with 2 feet together. It doesn't make a lot of difference, whatever method you prefer, but I move in so that I get the face square first, and then I move my body into position from that face squareness so that my body is now parallel, my shoulder line, parallel to my flight line. Now I'm called in what I refer to as a square position. I've got my aim, and now we're going to talk about our setup. Our setup is developed in this way. The distance that I'm from the ball is measured from my left arm onto my chest, where I'm now bending at the hips, and just as the club is ready to be sold in the ground, I sit at the knees slightly. That's my measure device. When I can feel the pressure on my chest, where I've come just above the ground and sit slightly, there's the distance from the ball for my driver. If I were with a short club like a wedge, I would go through exactly the same procedure. To here on my chest, bend a little at the hips, sit in the knees, and that would be the distance from the ball. So the procedure stays the same each time. You see, again, we're talking about developing a repeating swing, and repeating swing comes from being able to do the same things over and over again. Now, finally, in my setup, I also have to have the location of the ball. Where is it played in relation to my feet? Is it forward, middle, or back? And the forward position is the position I want now because the ball is on a tee. I'm not having to hit down on the ball, so I don't need it back. I need the ball a little forward, somewhere between a position from 2 or 3 inches inside my left heel up to the left heel itself. And that's where I play it, toward the left heel, because I use a lot of leg motion in my body, and one who didn't use as much leg motion would have the ball slightly farther back. So those things put together look like this. I have a precise gripping procedure. I look at my hands as I place them on the club to make sure they're correct. I bring the club, I can feel the weight of it, you see. Just as I told you to bring it up over your shoulder, I can feel the weight of it. I've got my target from behind already. I've picked my intermediary target. I sole the club behind the ball, looking at that intermediary target, look out to my target, place my left foot, then my right foot. I feel the distance from the ball right here on my chest. My arms are hanging comfortably, and I'm in a position now after I make a couple of waggles. You see, to keep myself nice and loose, I'm in position now to start my backswing away from the ball. I get a lot of questions about the details of the swing itself. And although you can't think of details when you're playing, it may be helpful for you to see some of the details as I go through a simulated swing in slow motion. One question that comes up more than any other is, how do I start the backswing? Well, there are several different ways. One of the ways is to start the backswing with a forward motion. That's called a forward press. It can be either a little press of your hands, a slightward press inward with your knee as we press to the left to start pushing to the right. This is a part of many of the classical swings in golf, and various people have different little motions that they use to start the club away, but they like to keep in motion with their body and hands so they don't get too tight when they stand over the ball. Then a little forward press and start the club away in this fashion by pushing it away with their left shoulder and their left arm. There are other players today who start from almost a static or straight position. They take their waggle, but then they start the club from a position in which they are still and then just push it away again, push the club away with their left arm, left shoulder, where the left shoulder turns under slightly, and the club goes away on a line either straight back, some take it outside, and some take it a little inside. And you may wonder, you may say, well, where should I take it when I take it on my backswing? The player who takes the club by pushing it away outside usually ends up by reversing his loop of his swing to the inside to strike it. If you take it away too far on the inside, you tend to loop to the outside to come back to the ball. If you take it more straight away, you'll tend to return on a path that is a little more straight away back to the ball. What's the best for you? You have to do this through trial and error to find out which of those takeaway positions will help you to return the ball from the inside slightly and then down the line to the target, depending on what kind of a shot you're trying to hit. Are you trying to hit a straight ball, a little draw, or a little cut, a little fade? And those are the things that will help you in determining that, and you will try the takeaway, whichever works the best. A little slightly inside, straight away almost, or take it away slightly to the outside. But we begin it by pushing away with the left arm to the takeaway position, now where the wrists start to cock. Somewhere here off the right hip for most players. Most players will find if they simply swing their arms back that a cocking of the wrist starts naturally somewhere off the hip and gradually cocks to the top of the swing where it comes into a fully cocked position. Now, other players will take the club a little farther back. Players like Nicklaus, players like Miller Barber, players like Gabe Brewer, where their right elbow goes out just a little more, they take it away and hold it a little longer and then cock it or set it later in the backswing. This allows for a lot of lash in the swing, but is a little harder to control for direction. Other players will find that they are better by taking the club with an early set, taking away, cocking the wrist early in the backswing, and then simply turning the shoulders back and through, a la Johnny Miller or Hubert Green. So again, there are some variations in here, but the standard procedure is simply to push the club away, almost taking it away on a straight line back for the first 6, 8, or 10 inches, and then let the club take its own natural course up, start the cocking of the wrist just off the hip, and let them set into position at the top of the swing where your left wrist is fully cocked. That's the beginning of the backswing. We've covered the beginning of the backswing. Now what about the top of the backswing? Many people say, well, where do I really need to come to at the top? How far back should I go? That depends a little on your own flexibility. Where we would like to go is the position in which the great players go, which is somewhere between 10 degrees below parallel and 10 degrees short of. Somewhere in that range of 20 degrees, either slightly past, even, or slightly short of parallel. Why do we need the club to get back to parallel? Well, simply because you need to wind up your body enough so that you can deliver some force to get distance. And if your club only gets back this far in your backswing, you're going to be severely handicapped for distance. So that's one of the reasons why we need to do some exercises to stretch ourselves so that we can get there. Now notice, as I take it back, how far back my club goes on a tee shot. Full swing now, tee shot swing. You see, I'll reach the position at the top of the swing where I'm parallel or even maybe slightly below parallel. Now people who end up with a golf swing where the club points to the ground like this, they really haven't overswung as far as taking their club back. They've simply let go with their left hand. Watch as I grip my left hand, and they bent their left arm too much. You see, now my club is in fine position. But by bending my arm, letting go with my hand, the club points way down here, and I can see it out of the corner of my eye. So the problem there really more is not in swinging too far back, it's in letting the control of the golf club go through the left hand and the left arm. So what I'm going to do is take the club back with a good grip of my last three fingers of my left hand, swinging it back. Golf swing is not only a swing forward, it's a swing backward. So when I push it away and get it into motion, then I want to start swinging it. I want to feel the weight of the club head. So the distance at the top will be with arm extended, not locked straight like a rod, because it's very unnatural. Really, it's the position in which you want your arm extended with the left hand holding on at the top and somewhere near to parallel at the top of the swing. Now I would like to show you what it looks like to have the left hand in position at the top. The position at the top of the golf swing is very critical because the left wrist is one of the controllers of the face. If the left wrist is cupped in this position, now the face has opened. You see, as the wrist goes to a cup position, the face of the club opens, and you're going to have to do something very dramatic on the downswing to square the face up again. If you're going to play from this position, you're going to hit a lot of slices. If you square the wrist a little more, you'll square the club face. The back of the left wrist is now flat with the back of the forearm. When the wrist turns this way, this is a little too much. It's closed the face, and that's very hard on your wrist to play from that position. Slightly arched is okay, but this way, very difficult anatomically, and it has the club face shut down dramatically. So let's square it so the back of the left wrist and the forearm are about in a flat line. Some of you may not be able to do that, and you may have to go a little cupped. If you do, then I would suggest that you take a stronger grip, one that shows more knuckles on the back of your left hand. What starts the down or forward swing? And I really like the word forward swing better because the idea is really we're trying to swing something to make the ball go forward. It's not a downward sharp hitting action, it's a swinging forward. And if you set up on an iron shot, for example, with your weight a little bit to the left, it'll travel slightly downward, but it's basically a forward swing. So let's talk about it as a forward swing. When I start the forward swing, what begins or initiates the action? Well, depends on if you're going to make a good swing or a bad swing. A bad swing is initiated by the hands immediately. The old hit it syndrome, where you get to the top of your swing and something says, hit! And of course you start with your hands right away, and that's incorrect. Where you should really start this swing is in a link-like chain action that begins right down here in the feet. And so when I begin the downswing, I want the left heel, which is raised slightly in the air when I've taken my body turn fully wound. Now as the left heel gets to the ground, that's one of the initiators of the golf swing. Left heel down, left knee moving toward target, weight working toward the left side, and a little lateral motion as I shift to the left, and all the rest of my body is simply following. It's working together. As the heel goes down and the knee goes to the left, my body starts to unwind, my hips start to return just slightly, and my club starts to drop down, but I haven't uncocked my wrist at all. It's really simply a dropping position. And as I drop a little further, you'll find the right elbow drops toward the pocket. It's one of the nice little keys for you to help you time your swing correctly, is to say, I'm going to feel my elbow in my pocket. That all comes from the correct leg action, initiating the swing by going to the left, with heel down, motion going to the left, with my left knee hip is bowing outward a little bit, and my arm simply following and doing nothing else but following that link action swing. Now I'm in the power package position. I'm in the position which I've retained all of the power that I've gotten from winding up and unwinding. It's still loaded, the gun's loaded, and now it can go off. And to make it go off, all I have to do is let it go. I don't try to hit here, I simply let it unwind, and that's the swinging motion that comes from the feeling of centrifugal force and the firing of the gun that comes from the unwinding of the body and simply letting the hands be transmitters of power, not creators of power. So if we look at it in slow motion, it will look like this. From the top, the heel is down, the left side moving to the left laterally, the knee separating the left knee from the right slightly, the club dropping to the inside, elbow toward the hip. As we're moving forward now, the head will retain its position as my club approaches the ball in this fashion, and my right heel will start to roll in and off the ground slightly as I roll to the inside of my right foot. I make my contact position there, and from there my finish is simply allowing to happen all the force that is coming forward, allowing it to get to the left foot, still holding on with the left hand to a good balanced finish. And that's the swing as it looks in slow motion.
Now we're going out of the fairway to play a hole where we're going to place the ball in certain situations to give you a chance to see how we play the other shots, the fairway woods, the long irons, the middle irons, and the short irons. You'll be able to see some of the details, those slight adjustments that need to take place in order to make those shots successful. Actually, the swing basically stays the same, but it's the setup that makes the difference. One of the things before we do that I'd like to discuss with you is how we play the game as far as our brain is concerned. Sometimes you hit a shot on the golf course which you call a no-brainer. Actually, it may have been a wrong-brainer because we have two hemispheres in our brain, a left and a right. And the left hemisphere is for decision-making. What club do I hit? How much wind is blowing? What's the distance? Where's the trouble? All of the little details that are involved in the decision-making part of making a golf shot. The right brain is the affective side, the side that, well, you look out there and you picture it, you feel it. And when we go to hit a golf shot, once we've taken care of the details in our left brain, and then we're set up ready to hit the shot, that's when we switch to our right brain. When we're taking the details out of our mind, we're not trying to make a swing by saying low back, cock your wrist, left wrist flat, shift your weight. You can't play with those kinds of details in your mind. What you play with is pictures. And so we're going to see now as we go on the golf course the details for the various shots, but when we get ready to play golf, we play with pictures.
Well, we come out here on the fairway and place the ball in a position where this par 4 is really turned into a par 5 because I'm going to have to hit a fairway wood to get it up close to the green. The green's surrounded by bunkers. We're hitting into a wind, and it's a little over 240 yards, so I'm going to play up short. I'm going to use a 4.5 wood, play up short of the bunkers, but I'm going to show you how to hit the fairway wood. First of all, the first consideration you want to look at is the lie. This is a good lie here, so I won't have any trouble getting the ball airborne, and I can use my wood. If I had a real tight lie, I might have to go to an iron. The next thing is, differing from my tee shot now, the ball is sitting down rather than up. Because it's sitting down, I have to position it differently between my feet. Remember on the tee shot, I had the ball placed up off the inside of the left heel. Well, that's because I was sweeping the club, having it reach the bottom of its arc just behind the ball, and sweeping the club off the tee as I followed through the shot. Now, I need to get a little more descent in my swing, and the way I do it is bring my right foot in just a little closer and also position the ball another roll or two back inside the left heel. So I'm about 2 inches inside the left heel. That's going to help me hit with a little more descent. Otherwise, my swing is very much the same, but not quite as full. Fairway wood shot. Weight, instead of quite as much behind the ball, with my center behind the ball, is a little more over to the left. Those are the considerations that you need to take when you go to hit the fairway wood shot. Now I simply sweep it with a little descent, and I have the ball up in the air just short of the green so that I can make a simple pitch to the green to make my shot at a birdie. I've moved the ball about 60 yards farther down the fairway so that we're 180 from the green, hitting into the wind, and I've selected a 3-iron to show you how we make the swing with the long irons. Now really this swing is very much like your fairway wood swing, except that we have again brought the stance a little closer together as far as the foot position. My feet are a little less than shoulder width apart now. I'm going to play the ball with the long iron close to my same position that I played from the fairway wood. slightly back inside from the heel, about 2 inches inside the left heel. My feet are not as wide as the fairway wood shot, and that means that my center of my body has moved over so that it's right on the back edge, in line with the back edge of the ball. My swing is almost a parallel or very, very close to parallel, maybe slightly short of it. Otherwise, the shot is very much like the fairway wood shot. I hit with a little bit of descent so that I can get a slight divot. Looks like this.
Now we're getting closer to the scoring zone. I'm about 125 yards away from the flagstick. I'm into the wind. I'm going to use a 9-iron. One of the things I have to watch for on my short iron shots is that I don't end up reaching too far for the ball. When I bring the club down again, it's on my chest, and I feel the distance by measuring the distance again so that when I bend at the waist, the club's just there, and I sit at in my knees. So now the pressure of the left arm again is against my chest. I feel the right distance from the ball for this 9-iron shot. My feet are not as wide apart as they were on the middle iron shots. The ball is played close to the center, slightly left of center, and I'm going to play the shot with less of a backswing because this is a shorter club and it just doesn't go back as far. As my feet come closer together, it's a very important point to watch. As my feet come closer, my center of my body shifts gradually more to the left, so that now my body center is almost right over the ball, and it can be even slightly on the left side of the ball. That helps you to hit with a descending blow, which gets more and more important as you get to the shorter irons. So you'll note that my body center and my legs are shifted slight bit to the left. That gives me the descent to hit this shot. As you get closer to the green, direction becomes more critical. I'd like to give you a $100 tip now on how to get your accuracy a little more zeroed in on the flag. I'm going to take a $100 bill and use it as an alignment device and place it down in the position going right to the flag, as though my divot would be going in that direction. That's what I'm going to envision as I hit this shot. Make contact with the ball first, taking a little divot that's going right toward the flag, and finally with a divot we'll cut off just a little over on the left side of the flag. So that's my picture as I'm about to hit this shot. And that's a good little idea to help you to get your club to go down the target line toward the flag. There we've taken you from the full swing off the tee with a driver to the fairway wood, long irons, middle irons, and short irons through a swing. The swing really basically stays the same, only the details in setup and the length of swing, the club selection, ball position, the small things are the only things that change, but a golf swing is a golf swing whenever you're making a full shot.
As I can recall from my own experience, I don't think I've ever run into a player, even the longest hitters in the world, who wouldn't like to hit it just a little bit farther. And I'm sure that's true about everyone that's in our audience this evening. My good friend Paul Bertheley has made a comment. He said, you know, these are golf's golden steps. The ones you walk past your opponent's drive. They are the most fun of any steps you take in golf. Now, they might not be all that terribly practical if they're going in the wrong direction, but nonetheless, hitting that long tee shot is a lot of fun. But even the most prestigious long ball hitters have recognized that there are some limitations. A guy like, a tour star Jim Dent, who was for many, many years, and when he was in the heyday of his long hitting, recognized that this particular shortcoming when he made the following comment. He says, sometimes I just airmail it, but I don't always get the right zip code. And for that reason, there is some liability to hitting the ball a little too far, but I don't think that's a problem with the majority in the audience, so we're going to try to talk to you about the secret quotes to distance. Lack of distance is a severe handicap. If you try to just figure it this way, let's say you can hit a golf ball 198 yards, maximum. And if that's true, what's the least number of strokes that you could play a 400-yard hole in? 3. 3 would be the absolute least you could play a 400-yard hole. Now, what if you could drive the ball 201 yards? Then what would the least be that you could play that hole in? 2. Now, it's just that simple. That if you can get it a little farther, up to a certain point, you see, you're handicapped if you can't reach that green in 2 shots, or you have to take an extra shot all the time to get it to the green, then you are suffering from a real handicap that puts your scores into double digits on too many occasions. So what is the secret to distance? Dead silence. Everybody's waiting. What is the secret to distance? The secret to distance is to choose strong parents. Well, that's not a very satisfying answer, I'm sure, leaving you with very little hope because you didn't have much choice of your own in that particular selection. But the one thing I want to make in that point is obviously heredity has some influence on whether or not you are a big hitter or whether you are a short hitter. But I want you to know, absolutely guarantee you, that even though you're influenced heavily by your genes, what you've acquired, there are some things that you can do to hit it farther than you presently hit it. And that's where the hope comes in.
Gary, how do you get all that distance and still maintain the accuracy that you have?
Well, Lloyd, really there are no secrets to the thing, but there are principles involved. And I did a study several years ago in which we studied the human factors influencing the golf drive for distance and found that there were 4 factors: strength, flexibility, the leverage that you have from your left arm and the levers in your body, and finally, the technique factor. If you'd get my little training device over there, I think I'll explain to the group, first of all, what we do when we're talking about strength, timing, flexibility, and the leverage factors. This is one of the pieces of equipment that I use for training to develop my strength and flexibility. Now, Lloyd, what I do with this is I have a series of exercises that help me develop that. This happens to be a very heavy weighted device, and I can add weight to it, which I've been doing over the last several months. What I do is start with a little routine where I work on the contact position first. You see, one of the secrets to golf consistency, we talked about accuracy, is being able to contact the ball with the back of the left wrist going to the target. When we have the left wrist breaking down in this position, that's when we provide us with our big hooks and slices. So we're trying to get the back of the left hand to the facing the target, and the left arm and the extension of the club in a straight line. So I do that first as a little rehearsal of good, consistent contact position. That helps me with my accuracy, and of course with this heavy weight of some 7.5 pounds out on this lever, it also helps me with strength. The next thing I do, the next little exercise I do is for my forearms. You see, if I had to have one exercise that I did that was more important than any other, it would be the strengthening of my left gripping hand, which is the forearm flexors of the left hand. This is the controller of the golf club, the last 3 fingers in the left hand. And if I just had the one exercise to do, I would do something to make those stronger. You also have the extensors in the back of the left forearm, which help you to keep your wrists flat. So I'm going to work on an exercise that'll help me with my flexors and extensors. I take this weighted device down about halfway, and I do a little pronation and supination drill here, a rotation of my flexors and extensors as I turn the weighted device over, both in my left hand first and then finally in my right hand. I do it slowly. I don't want to hurt myself. I've got to work up to this thing because it's the kind of thing where you can injure yourself if you work up to it too quickly. Usually I'm doing about 10 to 12 repetitions. 12 is my top number, and I do those both in my left and right hand to strengthen my grip and my forearms. The next exercise that I do is one that I do out in front of me. Remember when we've been working on trying to get power by letting the elbow come to the pocket? Well, I put it in close to that position and then hold the club at extension from me, this extra weighted device that's like the golf club, and I rotate it out in front of me
getting my contact position like a baseball swing, but it helps me again to develop the strength in my last 3 fingers of my left hand. I do some flexibility exercises with this as well, stretching behind me when I put the club away from me and behind me so that I can let my upper back muscles be stretched and help me to get the long backswing that'll get me the distance that I've been trying to work on and from a flexibility standpoint. Remember we said there was both strength and flexibility, so the things I'm doing here are through a full range of motion so that I get the flexibility in addition to the strength. I have a full series of these basically strength-building exercises, but it culminates with this final one, which I call the 30-second swing. In the 30-second swing, I take my grip position set up as I would as though I were on the golf course, and then take the full swing in slow motion with this heavy, heavy weighted club, getting my weight back to my right side a little bit, letting my left heel rise in the air, and putting it in exactly the same position. So it's building strength also while it's building technique. You may note one of the things that happens when I make my full swing as I'm doing it in slow motion with this weighted club. And it's a question that a lot of people ask me, and it has a relationship to do with the head. What does the head do? Do you keep your head still? Well, really, you don't. And as you'll look, as I take the club back, and this is a part, again, of my rehearsal of technique, even on this strength-building exercise, as I take my head back, too many people who try to keep their head still end up balancing over on the left foot in what we call a reverse pivot, trying to keep their head down, their eye on the ball. That's some of the worst teaching that you can get. It comes usually from husbands to wives, rather than from your PGA professional. Your professional knows that you can let your head rotate a little as you go back, and also on the tee shot and some of your bigger shots, your head also may move even slightly a little bit to the right, come back to its original position, and stay there through the contact position. On your short irons, of course, your head will be more stationary, only rotating now, but not moving laterally so much. So you'll find that in your making these strength-building exercises, that you also can work on technique as well. And I will repeat that series of exercise again, 10 to 12 repetitions until I get up to 12, and then I will add another weight to my package. Those are the things that I do for strength primarily. For flexibility, in addition to these, I also find that it's very helpful if I work on some body stretching exercises, some kinds that we use, for example, in beginning yoga, hatha yoga, where you do things like salute to the sun, where we start out simply stretching the back, back bending, a little forward bending, and soft, easy stretching, no heavy bouncing. See, I'm keeping this stretched position with my knees slightly flexed as I go down because I don't want to hurt my back. And if you're going to do this, you have to do this very carefully and very easily. So I stretch and just hang. See, let yourself hang until you can feel a stretch in your hamstring muscles in the backs of your legs. And a little bit, very easy. Don't work hard on your lower back here. Just let it hang and stretch the hamstrings. And gradually I do a little thing where I stretch out my body in this fashion. I'm stretching. I'm feeling the stretch in my back, and I'm letting myself relax and breathe as I get in this position. And gradually up. Again, working to keep my legs reasonably straight, just holding these positions. And then a little stretch forward, arching the back up, left leg again forward, arching up, and finally walking up into my position very slowly. That helps to keep me in a flexible position so that I can make the full turn for the golf backswing. So we have strength, we have flexibility, we have our lever length, the length of our left arm. In this case, we can't change it. So one thing you might do, trying with your professional to find out if it's going to work for your betterment, is to try a longer club. We've had a lot of senior professionals who have gone from a standard 43-inch driver to possibly a 46-inch driver. If you can make center face contact with that club and swing it within yourself, you'll find that that will help you to pick up some distance. Finally, the fourth factor probably the most important is the technique factor. The technique factor is the thing that you need to go to your professional for. It's the thing that he can work with you on your swing technique so that you can learn this late hit that we've been working on, where the elbow will go toward the pocket, where you've still kept the gun loaded, and where you can fire at the very last instant to get that timing that produces the whip lash action to drive the ball forward. That's what I would suggest to you as probably the best avenue of working on your own swing, particularly for distance. So those factors are strength, flexibility, the lever lengths in your body, particularly we can work on possibly the length of the club, and finally, the technique that your professional has so well in store for you to work on your timing for distance. Well, this topic is going to be on practice. Practice making ideas become realities. How many times have you heard the comment, practice makes perfect? That's pretty common, isn't it? I don't believe it. I would like to think that practice makes permanent, because if you are practicing a shot that looks something like this, and you do it enough, you will not get perfect, but it will become permanent. So that is really a better saying than practice makes perfect, is practice makes permanent. And therefore, it behooves you to find out the best possible technique to practice, because what you're practicing will become permanent. Practice is a pretty important part of the game, as you can see from a couple of our pictures here. This fella has practiced his wedge a little bit and has become quite proficient. And there are a lot of different ways to practice, as you can see by this next shot. This gentleman is taking the opportunity to practice at home, and pitching those little olives into the cocktail glasses is another form of practice in this particular example. But I want to tell you that you people here at this particular seminar have chosen to attend because you want to learn. You want to learn something about a motor skill, something more than you already know, motor skill being golf. You might ask yourself, well, what is learning? If I want to learn something, well, what is really learning? What's learning about? Well, learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior that comes about by practice. I will repeat. Learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior that comes about by practice. And the key word, there are several key words in there, but the most important word is practice. Somehow or other, golfers have this misconception that they have an idea of the expectation of execution from suggestion. That someone can say something and that's all, oh, is that it? Just change my swing plane? Okay, I've got it. You haven't got it. You might have it in your brain, but you don't have it in your body. You can pay $15 for a lesson, or $25 or $50, and the professional can do the following things. They can diagnose, observe, prescribe, but you can't do the last thing. And the last thing is being able to get you to do it, to practice it. That's something you have to do. He can't practice for you. He can do all those things, but he can't apply. That's up to you. Practice is one of those things that just is an absolute necessity to improve. No one has ever been born with enough natural ability to be a champion. Born with enough natural ability to be a champion without practice. A great story about a young professional aspiring to be a tour player, coming up to Ben Hogan when Ben was just at the end of his career, saying, Mr. Hogan, sorry to interrupt, I just want to ask you a question. He said, I want the worst way to be a great player. And he said, is there something you can tell me, a secret? You've worked at this game so much. Is there a secret that you can tell me that'll help me? He said, yes. You got a practice bag, son? He said, yes, sir. He said, use it. That's the secret. That was Hogan's secret. Quite a great champion's practice. Well, if you practice enough, then you can focus on the goal, the results. You can focus on the what's going to happen in the shot rather than the mechanics of making it. Because if you're there having to think about it, see, head down, eye on the ball, arms straight, bend your knees. If you haven't done the practice that gets you over that, then that's the way you play. And you can't make a golf swing playing that way. It happens 1001, 1002. It's all over. What have you had a chance to think about? So really, when you get down to it, practice allows you the freedom to go out and play and to be able to play with some confidence. What kind of practice are we talking about? Constructive. Right. Constructive, positive practice. The first kind would say, let's talk about some physical practice and then mention mental practice. I was doing a seminar with Jackie Burke, one of our great champions of the PGA and also the Masters. And Jackie told us a story about when he was on tour, the things that he used to do. He said, we would get a little game up sometimes with some of the good players. You'd play, before the tournament started. Monday, Tuesday, practice round. They want to play for a little something, $20 or whatever thing. We'll go out and play. He said, if I was out on the golf course and I started putting badly, he said, I couldn't get in my pocket. I couldn't reach in my pocket fast enough. So he said, here, take your 20. I'm leaving. I would get off somewhere out way from everybody else, late in the evening, out on the golf course so nobody could see me. And I'd get out of that putter from 4 feet, and I'd putt until I could make 100 in a row. And when I got up to my first 4-foot putt in the tournament, I didn't think I could make it. I knew I could make it. I didn't come here to win $20. I came here to win this tournament. Great idea, you see, about practicing with that kind of intensity. Well, it's not practical for all of us to do those kinds of things, but there are some things we can do. Just putting, for example. A good one is the 10-foot, 1-foot increment putting drill, where we put markers, tee markers in the putting green, 1 foot from the hole until we're back to 10 feet. We make it from 1 foot. And we go to 2 feet. And then we go to 3 feet. And then to 4 feet, and we're still making it. Now, if we miss, we have to go back to 1. And you putt until you can get to 10. It's a great little challenge. It's not easy. Try it. Get in what we call the circular putting fashion, progressive circle, where you start 2 feet from the hole and you putt in quadrants, from the north and the east and the south and the west. And you putt 2 feet, and when you make it from there, you move back another foot. You putt from all those different directions and see how far back you can get. Another good idea about practice. Another way about practicing I think is terrific is to create situations on the practice range like you have on the golf course. One that I see very infrequent, but which is very good, is to play 18 holes. I mean, just like what's your home favorite course? Tee it up, there's your driver. Look out there, there's my first hole on my favorite course. What do I have to do on that first hole? Got to hit down the left side and fade it a little bit. Okay, that's what I'm going to hit. Hit your shot, goes in the left rough. Going to have to play an iron on the rough. Let's see, I have a 2-iron. I've got to hit it down. It's par 5. Got to hit it, knock it out of there. Oh, hit that pretty well down there. I've got an 8-iron to the green. All right, take my 8-iron. Hit an 8-iron shot. In other words, play right through like you would play a round of golf. Because that way you get to use all the clubs in your bag. You aren't just out there beating one shot after another. Another wonderful way to practice is to practice with someone in a competitive situation when you say, all right, we're going to play to 5. 7-iron to the flag. Closest to the flag on right or left with a 7-iron. Okay? I hit. Mine's 10 yards right. You hit 2 yards right. You got 1. And you play competitively. Now, what element have I introduced in all these suggestions? The element of what? Competition. See, every one of those puts some pressure on you, because that's golf. When you go out to play, you have a little pressure on you. Why is it that people play, you get in the member guests, and you see the practice round, the guy just finishes the practice round. Oh, if you stood by the 18th green, on the practice day of the member guests, everybody's playing 3 hours, 15 minutes, 3 hours and a half, coming out the 18th green, oh my, boy, I wish I'd have saved that round for the boy, I played so well today. Then the next day, then the tournament starts. Now the rounds go to 5 hours. They're all taking extra waggles and extra time. They walk off the 18th green, oh my God, why couldn't I have shot today what I shot yesterday? You see, kind of thing. And one of the reasons for those things is we create so many situations in our practice on the range which are unrealistic. we don't really practice like a round of golf. And so when the round of golf comes, we're really not quite prepared. When Tony Lima was an unknown professional out in a little 9-hole course in Reno, Nevada, I used to practice as if he were playing in the U.S. Open. He'd name the balls, Hogan, Demerit, Snead. He'd play 4 balls, and Lima. And he'd putt saying, this is for the U.S. Open Championship. So when he was actually there, in the situation, he had been there before. Larry Nelson, who's one of our fine young players today, told us a story at our PGA National Academy last year that went something like this. He said, you know, the year before I was really unhappy at the end of the year because I'd done such a lousy job out of the bunkers. I felt it really hurt my game. So I dedicated myself to one thing. I am going to be a better bunker player in the following year. And that was this last year. And then to Greensboro, in a tournament where he was in contention, and Mark Hayes was on the green, and Mark Hayes, all he had to do was make two putts for a short distance, reasonably short distance. But here, Larry Nelson had pulled his shot in the bunker, was in way up against the side of a bank on a very steep shot with a high raising lip bunker. Difficult. If you could get it out of the bunker, it'd be tremendous. No way he could keep the ball on the green. He didn't think it. If he did keep it on the green, he couldn't get it close. He holed it. And he said to the kids, he said, you know, it was some luck, but I'll tell you, I spent 1,000 hours practicing bunkers last year during the off season. And he said, it wasn't all luck. So practice does make permanent. You know, it doesn't always have to be physical practice. How do you don't have time to do that? Practically speaking, you just don't have that time to go out and hit balls. Why not mental practice? I have a friend, Pat Riley, who's the head professional at Annandale, a very fine old club out in California, and Pat did something with a very busy neurosurgeon that was taking lessons from him that I think is a marvelous example of practice where you don't have to hit balls. The surgeon came to him and says, Pat, we're having the medical tournament. He said, I'm coming for a lesson because I haven't hit many balls this year. I haven't practiced much. I haven't played much. I want a lesson because I'm really hacking around. He said, but I just don't have time to practice. I want you to put it on cassette tape because I can play it on the way to the office and back, way to the hospital and back, and I can listen to it. Even though I don't have time to hit balls, I can try to remember what you told me. The doc shot an all-time best round in that tournament from listening to that tape over and over again on the way to the hospital and back because it was so fixed in his mind the right things that he should do. You don't have to hit balls all the time. Mental practice is also valuable practice. Well, some of you say, I'm too old. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. But as Robert Hutchins, the great boy wonder president of Chicago University, once said, people aren't dogs and education isn't tricks. You're never too old to learn if you want to learn. You've played a few holes in life already, and you may be down to the last 9 or farther along with only 3 left to play. You don't need to finish double bogey, triple bogey, double bogey. It's not too late. You can still get better. You can learn. You can improve. Why not finish with 3 pars? Practice will help get you there. Golf is a great game for triers. And I've never underestimated of what a person can accomplish in golf that has a desire. You know, I have a friend that's a golf director up at the Concord. Used to be from Tullahoma, Tennessee. His name is Hubie Smith. And he gave us an answer to a tough question that we've experienced in golf at various times, and that is golf a natural game or an unnatural game? Is it easy or is it hard? And this is what Hubie said. He says, hell, golf's easy. All you got to do is tee it, hit it, hunt it, hold it, and record it. Well, the only problem is that for some of you, it's difficult to get those double digits in those little boxes. And for that reason, we would like to do some things tonight that will help you get smaller numbers, make it a lot more fun, and make it easier to put into those particular boxes. One of the ways that we can do this is to show you that there is an understanding in the golf swing, I think, that we all need to have, that relates to where are we going to really have the fun to get the most out of this game? Where are we going to get the real fun and satisfaction that we should be getting from our golf experience? Getting the most out of golf. Most of what? What are we talking about the most of? Why do people play in the first place is a good question. Well, I kind of wonder sometimes how compelling this game can be, because long after the lights in the club parking lot are turned on, you'll still find the solitary golfer out there hitting one more practice ball. Why is it? Why is it that we can get on a cold, rainy April night a person who drives 15 miles across town to hit lumpy range balls out in a cold and difficult golf driving range situation? When the rest of the world is asleep at 6:30 in the morning, you can find golfers out there pulling their carts, tracing their struggles through the dew on the golf course, trying to search for that perfect golf swing. In the men's locker rooms, we find naked men running around swinging towels, thinking about, if only on 17 I had done it like this. You see, and in their offices, there are distress marks in the ceiling from the idea of trying to figure out what that perfect swing is going to be. Their carpets at home have divot marks on them. Their lawns are torn up from trying to figure out how to pitch and chip. Yet for all that, golf is still a game. It's a special game, but it is still a game. And if we asked ourselves, what are the reasons that we really play this game? And I'd like to find out from some of you, what are some of the reasons that you have? Why do you play golf? Let's hear from you. Why do some of you play golf in our audience? Why? Huh? Challenge. I guarantee you, golf is a challenge. Okay, that's a good one. Challenge. Why else do we play golf? Hey, that's a good one. To kind of relieve frustration. Did you say relieve frustration? The interesting thing is it is a relief. It's most of a relief kind of from the day-to-day chores that we all have. We all have a routine or chores that we have, whether it's the office, whether it's happens to be the house and the housework, or the kids, or the plant, or wherever it happens to be. There are things that just get us away from the thing that we have to do every day. And so it gives us a relief from those things. What else? Why else do we play? Yes. Okay, exercise is a beauty. Isn't it nice? You know, all you have to do is walk over to where they put those automatic carts and get in there, and they just drive you around. Next thing we'll have is a machine that swings the club for you. And right. Well, exercise, yes, particularly if you get a chance to walk around the golf course. What are some other reasons? Huh? Companionship. Boy, is that a good one. Companionship. The social part of it. Companionship. That's one of the basic reasons why a lot of people play. And just think of all the nice people that you've met playing golf around the world that you can relate to. And even a stranger walking up to the first tee, and you say, well, let's play together. And it's a way to meet people and also have a good time with people. There are a lot of other reasons. Travel. Golf is a good stimulus to go to some of the most beautiful places in the world. And, of course, the aesthetics and the beauty of the whole thing. One of the things we see, of course, is we demonstrate here the enjoyment of the game. It really can be a lot of fun. People can really have a good time playing. We also find that we talk about the exercise part of it. You know what? The 18-hole round of golf is an equivalent of playing 1 hour of vigorous tennis, because you're doing it over 4 hours, but you're burning up the same amount of caloric expenditure during that time. So there's more activity for a person walking than you might have someone lead you to believe. Also, the aesthetics and the beauty part of it. There's so many beautiful things in a golf course. It is a haven from the concrete jungles that we have to live in, and so there's some aesthetics to golf which are really very, very special. The frequent enjoyment, any combination of these things that we may get is what we ought to try and look for when we're trying to get more fun out of our golf. You know, I wrote a golf book in 1970, or Prentice Hall, the first line went something like this. Golf is a game, and as such, is meant to be enjoyed. We have a PGA member, John Gehring, in Atlanta Country Club, who's on writing on the values of golf, has described it this way. Golf can be a trip into tranquility. That's a marvelous line. A trip into tranquility. But you know what? It can also be an expedition into exasperation. And that is one of the first things that we've got to learn to contend with. I never remember seeing a cartoon that of a golfer coming in the front door. Matter of fact, he didn't open the door. He blasted his way through the door. You could see his image on the door with the golf bag even over his shoulder. He had this terrible, menacing, angry look on his face, and his wife shouted down the stairs, "How did your golf go today, honey?" And it was obvious that it had absolutely destroyed him. And it'd be funny if it weren't so true for so many people. We have a lot of people in this world that where the score dictates the treatment that they give to the rest of the world for the next 12 to 24 hours. Right? Come on now, admit it. Admit it. You are the same people that do that. You've sinned in that area, and I'm sure that we all have, because at times we let it get to us when really there's a tremendous amount of fun available there if we can look for some other things besides just the numbers. Hans Krauss was John F. Kennedy's back doctor, and he wrote a book called Backache. And you ask people why they exercise, and some of them would say, they gave the reasons for exercise. He said, "What do you do for exercise?" And they said, "Well, we play golf on the weekend." And he'd laugh a little bit. He'd say, "Well, you know, the reason that people play golf like business tycoons and Wall Street experts and presidents of the United States is because recessions, depressions, and wars look like small things after a bad round. And that's when you really let it get to you." I say that's really crazy, though. That's really crazy, because when we think about it again, why do we play? You know, one word that we didn't put up there yet, we talk about exercise and getting away from our chores and the challenge, companionship, and being out of doors, the nice aesthetics. But what's the one basic reason we play? Fun. Enjoyment. For fun. To have a good time. And that's really the number one reason why we should be saying why we're out there playing golf, to enjoy it. Now, but people enjoy different aspects of it, and so we can't say, well, you need this or you need that, because we all are going to like different things about the game. But the problem is that when we put all of our eggs into the basket of scoring, and we say we're only going to have fun when we play well, then we're going to have fun about 10 or maybe 20% of the time, because that's the amount of time that we play as well as we think we should. And that's not a good enough return for our investment of that time. You know, do you realize that you and a lot of other golfers spend 5 to 6 days working every week to get the opportunity to be out there in the first place? And if that's true, you need to really make it more worthwhile, to play not only the best you can, but if you don't play the best you can, at least you ought to have fun, even if you don't make that low number that you would like to have made. You certainly don't need to create any more hassles in your life. That attitude of trying to have fun on the golf course does have an influence on whether or not you play better. If you're trying to have fun, if you're in a positive, happy frame of mind, you're going to shoot better numbers, and it's been proven in some of the greatest sports in the world. If you want to ride AM or PM, if you want to ride or walk or compete or socialize, or with the kind of people that you want to choose to play with, who do you have the most fun with? What kind of attitude would you play with that you enjoy the most? Are you willing to try new games? A Scotch foursome, playing a one-club event. I play with wooden shafts every once in a while, just to change the pace. A lot of fun. Then why not create these conditions to have more fun? Seek out some ways to enjoy your golf more. The alternative, being frustrated and angry, is not a very becoming one, because it hurts your performance. You know what anger does to your body. It tightens you up. It makes your heart run faster. You perspire. It makes you do all the things that might help in some other sports, but I guarantee you they're detrimental in golf. So I would suggest to you that one of the things you ought to do is start asking yourself the question, what can I start doing to look for the things that I really enjoy in the game, and then go ahead and pursue those, and pursue them very actively. The psychology of managing yourself on the golf course. My goodness. Was there ever a game that had so much psychology in it? Did you ever stop to think about how much of golf was physical and how much was mental? You know, if you ask a tour player, they'll say, golf's 90% mental. 90%, that's a lot. And they're very serious about it. So you see, once you have the ability to strike a ball that well, then really it boils down to how well you think, how well you manage your mind. But one fellow, as I made that comment in a group, shortly after I'd heard this comment, I made that comment to a group of people, and I said, golf's 90% mental. And one of the fellows in the audience says, whoever made that comment ain't reached her 65th birthday yet. And that put a little more insight into my statement, because obviously it depends. If you're very physically adept, it becomes mostly mental, but at the beginning stages particularly of the game, it's a lot physical. And if you can't hit a ball very far, you're not very strong, then it's a lot of physical in it. But let's just imagine, for a time being, not to belabor the point, that golf is 50% mental and 50% physical. Will you accept those figures just for discussion's sake? The question then is, what percent of the practice time that you spend do you spend on mental practice? 0. I will bet you that there isn't anybody in this room who spends 10% of the practice time they spend in golf on mental practice. Why? If it's at least 50% mental, why don't we practice the mental part? Because you don't know what to practice, because no one has ever told you what to practice. Oh, you can get you people who are highly motivated. If the pro tells you, go out and hit 1,000 bunker shots, oh, you'll be right out there the next day, you know, 1,000 bunker shots. Or go over and hit 200 shots chipping, or hit 2 hours with the drivers. Boy, you'll do that. But it's hard to get people, even when you know what to tell them, it's hard to get people to practice the mental side of golf, and it is possible. And that's one of the things we're going to do in this particular session. One of the first things that's ever been provided with people to do any mental practice appeared in Golf Digest a couple of years ago. It's something that I wrote called My Competitive Edge. This started actually about 3 years ago. I was invited up to the University of North Carolina to help the varsity golf team with psychology, basically. The coach said, I've got a group of fellows here that can really play, but they don't really know how good they are. He said they don't have a lot of big names in the group, they haven't won a lot of tournaments, but they can really play. And I'd like you to come up and give them some self-confidence. So I thought about it a lot. I said, what can we do for these fellows that don't have a very good self-concept so that they could play better? And I thought a little bit, and I thought about, what about Dumbo? Remember, Dumbo couldn't fly until he had a magic feather, right? But once he had the magic feather, he could fly. Well, of course, that isn't true. He could fly all the time. He had the ear apparatus to do it. But because he didn't believe he could do it, he couldn't until someone made him believe he could do it, and the magic feather made him believe. So I had to figure out something like a magic feather. So I drew up this little system. I called it originally the Carolina Edge. I took it up to these fellows and I said, we're going to give you something that nobody else, not one other college or university in this country has. That's a mental practice routine. You will have something that nobody else has. We went around the room and said, what's the best competitive round you ever shot? What's the best round you ever shot your home course? 64. Best competitive, 66, 67, 63. I said, do you realize that on those days you could have beaten anyone in the world? You have that kind of talent. But now we're going to give you something special, something that no one else has. And so we introduced them to the Carolina Edge, which became the Competitive Edge, and is available to all of you. Now, I want to tell you about the 6 things that are on this card, because they are things that you can help you manage yourself psychologically on the golf course. The first one is a comment, is really about progressive relaxation. You know, Dr. Jacobson has been around for years about teaching people how to relax, how to be able to sit in a chair very comfortably and start by your fingers are very relaxed, your arms are relaxed, your forearms, your shoulders, your neck, and so on, until progressively you learn to let the tension drain out of your body. It's been around for a long time. And we've had things since then. Transcendental meditation, learning how to meditate so that you could relax. You could let some of the tension flow out of your body. Things like biofeedback training, where you can put your finger in a little device and it shows how much tension's in your body. And when you relax, the little dial goes down. And you can teach yourself how to relax. These kinds of quieting things, playing music, alpha music that changes your brain waves from beta waves, which are going at a higher oscillation rate, to alpha waves, which are quieter, much better state to play golf in. Music. Different kinds of ways to relax. So that's one of the things we do on the card first, is learn, whether it's this progressive relaxation or some other way, to quiet yourself a little bit before you go tee off.
How many times have you arrived at the first tee and find that it's your tee time, you're supposed to be out there playing, and you haven't had a chance to warm up? A lot of people think a warm-up should consist of hitting 2 dandelions and a cigarette butt on the way to the first tee and then say, all right, how much are we playing for? But if you don't have the opportunity to go hit balls like the tour players do, who always warm up their engines before they start, if you don't have that opportunity, then here's a substitute called a no-ball warm-up. Take your 2 heaviest clubs, and as you're chatting on the first tee, getting ready to decide what the game's going to be about for the day, take your 2 heaviest clubs, your pitching wedge and sand wedge, and start with just a little half swing, warming up your arms and forearms first. Keeping your left wrist flat, letting the heaviness of the club feel out on the end like a rock on the end of a rope, and gradually make it go a little larger as you turn your body, keeping good rhythm. This is working now your back muscles and shoulder muscles and your lower back and finally into your legs, so you're making a full swinging motion. Now take the club that you've selected for the first shot. It may be the driver, it may be a 3-wood, depending on the hole. Take that club and put it across your low part of your back and stretch the low part of your back just a little bit more. Do it easily at first so you don't hurt yourself. Then take the club, and this may be difficult for some of you, but you can work into it or at least simulate it. For me, it's easier because I've been doing it for a long time. But put it over your back, push it away from you, and stretch this way like in a golf swing. And what will happen after you do this a few times, that your arms will feel nice and long and loose, the way they should in a golf swing when you want to get good distance and good speed without a lot of effort. Instead of feeling, and the phrase is very accurate, feeling uptight, you want to feel long and loose so you can let it go out there with good distance without trying to have to hit it too hard. That's a no-ball warm-up for the first tee.
The second one, the second point of these 6 says, I know what my best swing looks like and I will visualize it 3 times. It's kind of a mental imagery thing. It's being able to sit and close your eyes and seeing your best swing over and over and repeating it in your mind. You have a very clear picture of it. That's why it's important to get a video picture of your golf swing when you're hitting the ball well, so you see what it looks like. It's clear in your mind. You know what your good swing looks like. Divers do it. What do you think they're thinking about when they're standing up there on that 7-meter board with their back to the water? You see, arms outstretched, ready to enter. They're picturing exactly what they're going to do in the dive. Mental imagery, seeing their best dive in their mind's eye, doing it before they ever perform it. And golfers should do the same thing. You need to see positive pictures. If you don't, you can end up in a lot of crazy places. Places that you see right here that aren't really very much fun. And when you get in places like this, it is the result many times of having a bad picture in your mind, of not being positive about what you were going to do. Let me tell you how important being positive is. I had an experience just a few weeks ago. I went out and taught the National LPGA teaching seminar out in San Diego, California at Singing Hills. And I was just finishing my clinic to this group of illustrious players, Patty Berg, Shirley Engelhorn, some of our finest, Peggy Kirk-Bell, of gals who are now great teachers in America. I was finishing my clinic, and it was on a driving range that was contained by netting and fencing and poles at the very end holding the netting up. And I said, I'm going to hit my last shot, and I want to demonstrate now and put all the things together we've talked about grip and visualization and good stance and good swing. And I said, you see that flag down there at the end of the range, which is some 240 yards down range, and you see the fence just beyond it. There's a green post over there 10 yards to the right. That's my target. The target was 6 inches in diameter, running 30 feet high. I hit the post 10 feet from the top and absolutely broke the crowd up. They said, do it again! Well, let me tell you, it was luck. But it wasn't all luck, because in my mind, I could see that ball going right to that target, and that is exactly what happened. And you can't imagine. Yes, you can, because you've all done it. You've all done the same kind of thing. You've seen balls go in the hole from off the green because you visualize it so well in your mind. But when you're standing there and you see you're standing in there and there's out of bounds to the right and there's water to the left, and the only pictures you can pull up are that, oh, it's going to go in the water, or I'm seeing it slice out of bounds. That's just what will happen. And that's why positive imagery is so important. The alternative isn't worth even discussing. The third point on that little card is self-concept. It says, I am a good player, I am a smart player. Like a professional, I know what I can do. See, I'm a good player, I'm a smart player. You're saying good things about yourself. You know what the alternative to that is? I'll tell you what it is. Let's imagine we're playing in a pro-am. You're my partner. You got 2 strokes on this hole. It's a par 5. You're a 36 handicapper, just the kind we love. You go down there and you hit down by the green in 3. Now all you have to do is pitch it on the green. 2-putt, even. We have a 4, a birdie on the hole, very simple. So you got to pitch it over a little bunker. So my man with 2 strokes goes and sticks it behind the ball. It goes in the bunker. He chops it twice. He picks up, puts it in his pocket. After we leave the green, I go over to him. I said, you idiot. You turkey. Every time something like this has you have a chance to help, you choke. You do it all the time. You're no good. You're a choker under pressure all the time. Now, you think that's going to help his performance on the next few holes? No way. But you know what? You talk to yourself that way. That's your self-talk. You hit a bad shot and you say, oh, you dummy. You can't. Why can't you ever hit a good shot when it counts? You talk to yourself that way, and it destroys you the same way as if you were telling it to someone else. You also need positive self-talk. Don't talk to yourself in that fashion. So this little thing helps because it destroys your self-concept. This little thing helps your self-concept. The other ideas on there would have to do with rehearsal, about rehearsing your regular routine, with being able to understand what competitive golf is all about, and finally with visualization. I'm going to go out and play my 18-hole round tomorrow. I'm going to play it now, though, in my mind, not the putts, just the tee shots. Where do I want to hit it? Where do I want to hit the second shot? To see those things. And so when you're confronted, you've already been there before. There's one thing for certain. Your body won't lie for your brain. Whatever you're thinking, up here is going to happen. It's going to come out through that club and that ball. And if you're standing there on that first tee, and you start out with a decent picture, and you say, oh, it's going to hit a 250 down the middle. I'm going to hit a 250 right down the middle. 250. And you go to the top and something says, oh, no, you're not. Then you're destroyed. The mind can destroy you that quickly. Whether it's a putt, you're standing over the ball, and just as you take it back, it says, you're going to push it. And then what do? Boom, you close it quickly, and you pull it to the left. So your mind must be thinking the positive, clear pictures. When we talk about visualization, we talk about Dave Stockton, the great PGA champion, when he won at Southern Hills, and he said as he came to a clinic that we were at several years later, said, you know, when I won the first time, I'd already won in my mind. That week and early, I visualized myself walking down the 18th fairway with thousands of people cheering me as I walked to the green. And when it happened, He said, I've been here before. Well, the fact of the matter is that the ball controls the game, club controls the ball, your body controls the club, and your mind controls your body. And when you can learn to control your mind by practicing mentally, you're going to be a lot better player.